for street shoulders.
Come on.
We good?
I watch it all the time.
Call this meeting of the Pompton Lakes Planning Board to order. Following is the agenda for the regular meeting of the Pompton Lakes Planning Board. Meeting is to be held in Municipal Building, 25 Lenox Avenue, September 16, 2025, beginning at 7:30. Formal written advance notice is required by NJSA 10:4-1 at Sept. Has been provided of the meeting at least 48 hours in advance of today, given the time, date, and location, and to the extent known at the time of the agenda of the meeting. Such notice stated that formal action may or may not be taken. The notice was, one, posted on the bulletin board outside of the offices of the municipal clerk, reserved for this and other similar announcements. Two, provided to the Suburban Trends, and newspaper designated by the Borough Council to receive such notices, and three, filed with the Borough Clerk. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, first of all, I'd like to welcome Susan O'Malley to our esteemed board.
Thank you.
She's taking over the duties of the board secretary, so welcome.
Thank you very much.
And you're going to have your handful tonight, so I'm glad you have a little help over there.
I have my help, so we're good.
Liz, thank you for coming.
We're fine. Yes.
Okay, so first item on the agenda is regular meeting minutes for June 17th. That's pending, so we're not acting on that tonight. And then the regular meeting minutes for our August meeting, we did have, and if so, what is your pleasure?
Make a motion to accept.
Motion by Mr. Trost, second by Mr. Bowlby. Any comments or questions on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any present?
Present.
One present.
Present.
How many presents? Present. Okay. Roll call approval. Okay, roll call, please.
Yes. Mr. Simone?
Here.
Mr. Otto?
Here.
Mr. Trost?
Here.
Dr. Pendexter?
Here.
Mr. Bowlby?
Here.
Mr. Keating?
Here.
Mayor Sarah?
Here.
Councilman Patrick Quinn?
Here.
Mr. Bootsma?
Here.
And Mr. Foster? We have Mr. Andy Brewer?
Here.
And Mr. Dan Block?
Here.
And Miss Nikki Lau? Ludus.
Here.
Thank you.
All set?
Yes.
Okay, first item on the agenda is approval of bills. We have Collier's Engineering and Design Professional Services from August to September, and Mariziti Falcon Legal Services Retainer for June 2025, and Donald Falsky Engineering Associates July to August Engineering Inspection Fees. The totals for that are $1,144.46 for Collier's, $2,423.50 for Mariziti Falcon, and $560 for Donald Falsky Engineering. Motion and discussion. Motion first.
Make a motion to approve.
Mr. Keating, Mr. Trost, any discussion or questions on the bill? If not, we can do a roll call on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no roll call vote, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can do it.
You can do, yeah, just all in favor. See when everybody's saying aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay. There is no correspondence, so we're going to go right to the applications tonight. First application on the agenda is PB 25-01, Sarah Realty, LLC, 714 to 720 Hamburg Turnpike, Pompton Lakes, Block 9001, Lot 11, Zone GWD. Please note this is carried over from the June 17th meeting, and it was notified at that time that it would be continued. With that said, representatives for that applicant, please step up and give us the best of what you got.
Okay. I will do my best.
Good evening, members of the planning board. My name is Justine Del Vecchio, and I am an attorney with Greenbaum, Rose, Smith & Davis. Tonight, I am representing Sarah Realty, LLC. with regards to an application for preliminary and final site plan approval with bulk variances for construction of a 3-story mixed-use building located at 714, 720 Hamburg Turnpike in Pompton Lakes, also known as Block 9001, Lot 11 on the borough tax maps. This is a continuation of the hearing which began on June 17th, 2025. To refresh the board's memory, the property is currently improved with a single-story commercial building, and the applicant is seeking to construct an additional 2 stories of residential use. In response to the board's comments and the public's comments from the prior meeting, we are pleased to report that the applicant has worked hard to revise its plans to eliminate some of the variances, reduce the intensity of other variances, and otherwise mitigate the concerns we heard. Notably, there will now be 8 residential units, and the trash enclosure was moved to reduce the intensity of the variance previously requested. Additionally, and at the board's suggestion, the applicant met with the county planning board and its professionals and has revised the plans to remove the parking spaces in the front of the property completely. As such, the project will have 37 physical parking spaces and a total of 38 parking spaces, including the electric vehicle credits. The removal of these front parking spaces has eliminated the need for one variance in this application. As will be outlined in the testimony you hear today, the applicant took the board's and the public's comments seriously by incorporating revisions to alleviate their concerns to the fullest extent possible. Today, you will first hear from the engineer Adnan Khan regarding the updated site plan he prepared. You will then hear from the architect Yogesh Mistry regarding the updated architectural plans he prepared. And finally, you will hear from the applicant's planner, Paul Ritchie, regarding the justification for the variances requested. So with that, I would like to bring up my first witness.
You were sworn in earlier in the first application, right? You remain sworn in.
Want me to put a copy of your plans up?
Yes, please.
The password for the computer.
It's right on top there.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
All working.
Okay. So as the board, previously heard from your testimony, you testified about the original plans you prepared. Can you please walk us through the updates to the plans you prepared and what is now being proposed for the project?
Sure. Good evening, board. As you recall, we were here a couple of months ago, and at that time there was neighbors as well as some board comments, and then also we met with the county. And one thing that came out of the county meeting was that for this application, they will not allow any parking along Hamburg Turnpike. As you understand, there is a parking for the existing stores perpendicular in front of the storefront. So the county outright this says for any applications along that corridor, that's their policy now, there will be no parking within the front. So what we did is based on the comments, and again, I believe the board has the concern as well as some of the neighbors had the concern about the exercise within the parking area, the location of the stair and elevator addition that we were proposing. So that all is being thought out again. And what we did is the plan that you have in front of you is...
Reference the plan number, please, in the current date.
Okay. It's sheet CO3, and the date on the plan is...
Whatever the latest revision is.
Yeah, August 7th, 2025. And I'm testifying on sheet C-43, which basically is the site plan that's been prepared after the changes. And as you can see, the parking in the front of the stores along Hamburg Turnpike is all eliminated. So we're not proposing any parking in the front area. Because of that, we did had a reduction in the total parking count, a proposed parking. Then there were one other major issue was the continuous access from the adjacent lot into our lot in the rear. So what we did is like we eliminated that completely. So the plan that you have in front of you will see that we used to have 2 parking spaces and then a 16-foot aisle here. So what the architect did that he eliminated the stair tower along the northern portion of the building, and we moved the stair tower to the back or to the rear of the existing building. And then then along that stair tower, we moved the trash enclosure, which will be located in the same area. Before, the trash enclosure was along the L-shaped western corner of the property. And I believe there was some concern raised by the neighbors with the location of the trash enclosure close to their property line. So now the trash enclosure is being moved to the southern portion of the green area that we created to cut any access from the adjacent lot for any parking between the 2 lots. So this all area will be turned green except for the area required for the sidewalk to access the trash enclosure and the storefronts from the back. And then we also have landscaped along the property line along the edge. So by doing so, we eliminated 2 things. One, there was an excess aisle, which I believe it was 16 feet in this area. So now that excess aisle is completely gone. And also those 2 parking spaces that were serving through that excess aisle has been eliminated. So this area, again, we heard the neighbors and the concern and the constant parking they're mentioning between the 2 lots is being eliminated. So that is one of the major change, or the second major change after the elimination of the parking in the front. By moving the stair tower from the northern port side of the existing building to the rear, we were able to eliminate that variance. If you recall, there was a small a confluence point where the drive aisle was reduced to 21 feet, approximately 21 feet. So by eliminating that, we have now full access, approximately 25 or close to 26 feet drive aisles. So we eliminated that waiver or variance as well. So now we have fully conforming driveway aisles throughout the access points of the parking. So those were the major changes that we made. We also added, like as we discussed, that a small hashed area which would be loading and unloading. However, we also kept the existing asphalt in front of the storeway where there used to be parking. And the idea there is like during the morning hours, whatever, there is loading and unloading that required for any particular, or when loading required for any particular store, or it will provide a safe path for people walking to the stores. So we kept that area as asphalt. However, we are providing the curb along, and again, that was another requirement by the counties that they want the frontage of the lot where we are eliminating the parking to be fully curbed and landscaped. So we have added a landscaping strip along Hamburg Turnpike in the area where we eliminated those parking, and matching the other side, the northern side, where we already had the landscaping along Hamburg Turnpike. So there was a combination of adding more landscaping and more trees or shrubs in the front, and of course the other 2 items that I mentioned. By doing so, we are required, we reduce the parking count. If you remember, originally we were proposing 48 parking spaces were required, and now we are proposing, now with the new project, it's 45 spaces. One other thing that I want to also address is the unit count have reduced as well, because when we realized that we're going to reduce quite a few number of parking spaces, the applicant, we discussed this with the applicant, and applicant said, let's try to minimize that gap. So he was willing to sacrifice 2 lots, and we basically give up 2 lots. And now instead of 10 lots, we are proposing 8 lots. So that reduces the parking count towards the residential portion of the requirement. So, yeah. As far as the parking, so now we are proposing 37 parking spaces. With the EV credit, it goes up to 38 spaces. And originally, I believe we were proposing 47 spaces with the EV credit of 2. So again, there is still a difference, but the difference is minimized by reducing the number of units. And again, based on the applicant's, my interaction with the applicant, like I believe he mentioned that in actual, even though based on the ordinance requirements for the commercial, we require a larger number of parking spaces, but in actuality, during any peak time, the maximum commercial spaces that he observed are between 10 to 14 spaces. So we are proposing a lot more than that dedicated for commercial use. So we have enough parking for commercial use, and we have 16 parking spaces dedicated for residential. So the residential will have their parking spaces, then that they don't have to go through the commercial.
And just to clarify, the ordinance requires us to have 45 parking spaces, correct? We are proposing 38.
We are proposing 38, correct, yes.
Thank you.
And also by making these changes, we have also reduced the impervious coverage requirement. Originally, if you remember, the original project was approximately little less than 94%. Now we are at 89.84%. So we added more green area along with landscaping to the project.
And can you tell the board what the current existing impervious coverage is, just for their own knowledge and comparison?
Sure. All right. Current impervious coverage is 89.2, and we are now proposing 89.84. So it's slight, I would say, less than 1% increase of the impervious coverage. So those were the major changes that we did to the plan. Otherwise, as far as the access point and drive aisles location, they are all the same, except now the drive aisles are fully compliant. They are more than 24 feet that is required. We have the required number of handicap spaces. We have required number of EV parking spaces that we are proposing. The trash enclosure has been moved as per the concern of the neighbors. The retaining wall is being clarified on the plans as to what will be the height, and it's a gravity wall. It's maximum at a height, the maximum height at any given point of the wall is about 2.5 feet. So it's not a major, or it's not more than a 4-foot high retaining wall.
And with regards to the garbage enclosure, can you just speak on the change in the variance that we are requesting? Because I believe we were previously requesting 0-foot setback, but now it is.
Now it is 14.77 variance, but again, it is because we moved the garbage from the rear property line towards the property.
And can you also speak to the additional variance we are requesting regarding the minimum rear yard setback?
Yeah, again, the minimum rear yard setback, again, that has increased because we moved the stair tower from the side to the rear. So even though we landscaped it along the perimeter, but that still triggers a variance for the rear yard.
And what are we now proposing for that?
It's 28.28.
And what is required?
35 feet.
Okay. And then can you also speak about the minimum signage setback, because that variance changed as well?
Yes, the signage, again, as per the discussion with the county, they want the signage to be installed in the green strip. So by pulling the sign toward into the green strip, now the setback is reduced to 0.75 feet but it is located in that green landscape area along the Hamburg Turnpike. And as far as the engineering, of course, like we reviewed the Collier's report, and then we tried to address as many comments in the engineering comments, and they were addressed, and as listed, most of them are satisfied by Collier. Collier is satisfied with those comments. So in making those changes, we try to address some of the other engineering comments as well.
Thank you. I'm going to like to go to the Collier's report first because there was a lengthy letter which you've coordinated, which is great. And I'd like to see where Collier stands on both the engineering and the planning aspects of this project, which will help the public and the board understand it a little bit better.
Yeah, let me go for it. Dan Block, filling in for Kristen Russell, for those who don't know me. I do have a couple of questions. I reviewed this application with Kristen this afternoon.
Pull that microphone over towards, like between you guys, please. Thank you.
As far as the number of required parking spaces, I think there was a little bit of a miscalculation in our letter, because the ordinance requires a 2.5 parking spaces per 3-bedroom unit, and we had calculated only 2 spaces per all of the units, so it does increase the required parking spaces by 1, so it'd be 46 instead of 45. Doesn't change the
So it goes to 46?
46 is what is required.
Required, right.
Yes, so it doesn't change what they're proposing. And then the other question is, how is the shared parking going to be handled? Is there assigned parking anywhere, or is it reserved for tenants, or vice versa for the commercial customers, or how's that going to be handled?
Yeah, it is intended to have dedicated parking spaces for the tenants. So the area in the back, those 9 spaces, and the parking spaces to the northern side of the building, otherwise close to the stair tower, all that parking will be dedicated to the tenants.
And there will be a total of 2 parking spaces per unit for a total of 16 dedicated to the tenants, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Can I just tell you, what does that mean, dedicated?
Means that is assigned to,
But is there a sign that says, do not use if you're not a tenant? I guess was that what you were asking?
Yes.
I didn't mean to
Yes.
hop in, I apologize.
yeah, we can add the signs, like, we can say like tenants only signs.
Him you gotta talk to.
Yeah.
Yes, so that should be added to the plan, Sam, whichever spaces you're dedicating, and whatever
Sure.
signage is proposed, that should be added to the plan.
So it'll be reserved per unit.
For you.
So each unit will have 2 spaces assigned to it,
Yes, and then we can
and
number.
appropriate signage for that.
That is correct, we can tell them, spaces 1 and 2 is for this unit, 2 and 3 is for that unit. So we can do that.
And we would ask that be part of resolution compliance should this application be approved.
And the spaces, just to make it clear, is the spaces along the rear property line and along the northern side of the building, not the northern side of the lot?
The northern, not all of the northern side, because we have EV charging stations there too. So between the one EV charging station and then the 8 spaces that you see. So actually what I would do is I would do the whole strip along the western property line, and then those 8 spaces along the northern side to come up with the 16 spaces for the tenants.
Okay.
It says here, there's 9 here, there's 9 and 7, so that's.
Yeah.
And then the other parking spaces that would be open for customers, you don't want the tenants to park there, so are those going to be restricted from residential parking, or?
They won't be restricted because again, the commercial, those parking spaces the tenants can use when the businesses are closed. So they
Right.
can use it. So if we restrict them, then, because again, on along Hamburg Turnpike, there is no parking.
Right.
So we're going to reserve it for off hours for tenants.
And do you need signage indicating that, or? is that
No,
just-
I would say any open space can be taken by any of the tenants or the guests that are coming.
Let me ask one question in conjunction with that. The access to the housing units, the rental units, is strictly from that tower in the back, or is there should be 2 exits, obviously. Where is the other access point for those buildings?
The main access is through the towers, and of course, architect will go over his plans, but that is the main entrance.
Well, how else do they get in and out?
I will leave it to the architect, but I think we have a secondary access point as well.
All right, the only reason I ask is because we're talking about who's gonna park where. People are lazy, they're gonna park closest to the building where they have a door. So my guess is if the bulk of the entry is gonna be in that corner,
Just to remind.
people are gonna wanna park back there for the building.
The residential units are second and third floor.
Right.
So again, they are accessible through the staircase. So I believe they will be using the rear of the property to access their apartments, but I'll leave it for the audience.
Okay, that's fine.
The other question I have is regarding the loading and the, I don't know what you call it, the pavement that you have in front of the building. The loading area that you have striped is very small. It's not really large enough to be a loading area. So is that the intention, that entire strip in front of the building, going to be the loading area?
No, not in front, because we have 7 parking spaces proposed in that area. You're talking about this section?
Directly in front of the building.
What is
Oh,
parking
no,
now
right
that's
here.
not
No,
gonna be parking?
this is not loading, this is just, I mean, first of all, the loading we expect is like, vans, delivery vans or box trucks. So we're not expecting any bigger vehicle than box trucks, typical FedEx and UPS trucks type. So there is enough ample space for them to park in this area. So this is about like 20 feet long, I would say 22 feet, 20 feet by 12 feet. So there's ample area. But again, then we have for smaller vans, we have the area in front of the stores that they can just pull in, they can deliver, and then they can leave the site.
In a regular parking spot?
No, the area, the paved area in front of the storefront.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, the smaller vehicles can park there or move into, let's say there's a delivery to pizza stores. So the van can just pull in front of the pizza store, deliver, and then they can just back up.
However, you don't control anything to the south of your spots. So if someone decided they were gonna park for the bagel place, the legal spot for the bagel place would close off that strip, which forces them to back out of that strip into the oncoming traffic of the parking area.
And that's something that we talked with the county also, and then what we agreed to that we're going to provide a curb between the 2 lots. So if you look at it, this area right here, where there is a potential for the cars that can come in and out, we can provide a curb there, a small curb that.
You don't control that lot.
No, on our lot, on our side.
So you're
So
gonna
you-
make that just a dead-end aisle?
It will be just a
Dead end.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
No parking there, just drop off?
exactly, yeah. No
Does that
parking.
need to be striped as a loading area? I mean, that's kind of confusing.
Actually, we can stripe it, loading and unloading if that area is required, but again, I mean, it's up to the board. If the board wishes, we can stripe that area as well.
I hate a lot of striping.
Yeah, I
I
think it
don't
won't
either.
look nice, yeah, it won't look nice, yeah.
We can talk, let's see where things go.
Okay.
That area in the front has troubled all of us, because that's why we told you from the first meeting, go talk to the county, because your proposal, we knew it wasn't gonna sail. So now we know you're limited what you can do, and so we can delve into that a little bit more, as the planner said, but it's just gonna be tricky. So let's go beyond that one and see what other questions do you have on this other than parking?
Parking and loading were really our major concerns from a planning standpoint.
Yeah, us too. Okay, engineering?
I'm concerned with that being a loading aisle without understanding how a truck backs out from there, if that's a dead end. I'd like to see if you have any correspondence with the county. I know you've talked to them. Did you provide a formal submission, and do you have any comments?
We did not provide a formal submission to the county just yet. We had a preliminary meeting with them on this, and their major comment was to eliminate the front yard parking, as, you know, the board and the public had commented.
Let me throw this out there real quick. If, and this is only, depending on where the project goes, we're really talking about, what if. Do you think the county might say to you, for example, you could put an exit driveway from that so that the landscaping would go, so they would let you come out just one spot there?
No, I don't think so, the county will allow that.
Like a circular driveway in and out for parking?
No, I don't think so, the county will allow that, because according to their master plan, county master plan, even for having the existing access that's there, we need to get a variance from the county for that. for the
I'm just
access.
wondering if they would allow it as a through, one way in and out. Pulling out onto the turnpike forward is a whole lot easier than backing down that strip right into the driveway.
We can discuss that with the county when we formally apply for it, if they allow My
It's just
understanding.
a thought.
Yeah, my understanding based on our discussion is like, it will be, they said like it can be granted, the waiver for the existing driveway, they said it will be granted, but still we have to request for a waiver from the county. So we can add that scenario and see, or discuss that with the county.
Do you think that would make some sense if the county would allow it?
If the county allows them to make an exit
I
driveway
think
there?
single lane exit, you know, they're
Right turn.
not for a large truck.
Right turn only, I think it would make
Yeah.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
I don't-
That means
I
the
don't
county
think-
won't like it.
Probably not.
I know because we're dealing with the county and some other things, what they're trying to do is stop all entrances and exits from businesses off the main roads. So they don't care which way it's going, in or out, they don't want entrances.
But they can't landlock businesses, and all I'm saying is there's a safety issue here where you would almost have that area completely useless then.
Unless
So-
the trucks unloading come in and then back in there. If they just back in there.
Yeah, they could back in, but
small K-turn or J-turn or whatever.
people on Hamburg Turnpike tend to be going a little fast when they turn in there sometimes.
And again, we're not talking about like a constant delivery or loading, unloading, like we have 3 stores there. And so I would say it's not going to, and again, it can be monitored, so again, in the morning time, let's say they're coming early morning or mid-afternoon, they can always, I mean, the idea there is like, it's not to actively use it as loading, unloading, but since it's already paved area there, we want to keep it so that just to provide the customers kind of an access to going to the stores, in and out of the stores more conveniently. So that was the only idea.
Why don't you, and I'm probably not gonna be popular with this, cut that in half, make it 12 feet wide, and only have like 12 feet of paved service, and then increase your green space there. It's gonna reduce your impervious coverage, and there's gonna be no way for anybody to park there.
Absolutely, yeah, we can do that, absolutely, that's a very good suggestion. Yeah, we can increase the width of this landscaping strip that we're doing, and we can add more green area.
And,
Yeah.
and I would ask that that addition be part of resolution compliance and or a condition of approval that we present updated plans with that should be.
Yeah, I think that's,
Okay.
that's a good idea.
These are suggestions for trying to make it work better if possible.
I have one more question, if I could, on parking.
Yes.
The 13 spaces along the street on the northern side, the very last space, can a vehicle maneuver in and out of that space safely? It's right up against the edge of the lot.
Yeah, we have a 24 feet backup aisle area, and then again, we have the template, so yeah, you can back out and move, and again, this will be just one way. So there will be not, if they need the K to turn, they have enough room that they can do it within the 24.
Without backing out into the street?
Yeah.
And I did speak with the applicant. He is okay expanding the green space there, so should the board, approve our application tonight, we would ask that be a condition of approval that we can adjust the plans.
No, but
Okay.
if we increase that, like, then we'll reduce the drive out from 20.
My apologies.
Oh,
I meant in
no,
front
yeah.
of the stores.
Oh,
Yes.
My apologies.
So, all right.
Yeah. Anything else that you guys
Just a
have?
couple of small questions.
And by the way, make sure your letter is covered.
Yes. This wasn't in the letter, but I do know that there were some residents' questions about streetscape and additional street trees along Hamburg Turnpike. Is it possible? I know that that whole portion on the southern side is all concrete. Is there any, I don't know, this is if the board would like it, reason why you couldn't put a couple of trees there as
No.
well in a grass strip?
Yeah, I think we can do it, probably to add additional 2 more trees. That's something like, we didn't think about it, like, since you heard to hurrying completion of the plan. But yeah, now again, there is all the sidewalk. I think the only thing the county will be concerned is about that we need to provide at least 5 feet of clearance for people and to use the sidewalk. So, but I think we have still room and we can provide maybe 2 more trees.
Yeah, you have the same condition
Yeah.
to the north,
So we can add 2 more trees there, yes.
And the applicant is happy as part of resolution compliance to work with the board's professionals to determine any additional trees that we could list.
Okay?
I think the main other concern, Mr. Chairman, is the fence around the back of the property.
Let's
We
talk
went
about that.
Above the wall, you mean?
Above the wall.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
talk
we
about
went-
that.
We went from a 2.8 foot high wall to, I think it's still a 2.8 foot high wall with a fence above it. We really don't have any details of that fence. And I know there's a lot of concern from the neighbors about that as well, and the screening. I know the screening requirement is 6 feet, so you're getting the 6 feet, but can you speak a little bit to the retaining wall, if it's gonna have any drainage?
Yeah.
If it's like a keystone wall, where does the drainage go? Does it have geogrid? I think we touched on that the last time as well.
Yeah, it's totally gravity retaining wall, so no geogrid. It's only 2.5 feet high wall, so it will have a drainage in the back, and I believe what are the drainage pipe that we're going to have in the back will be tied to the dry well system.
Okay.
So the system that is out there. As far as the fence, I thought we added a fence, but it's not. It's going to be like one of those aluminum decorative aluminum type fence, safety fence.
Aluminum what?
The decorative metal fence.
Oh,
So it's going to be mounted on top of the retaining wall for the safety, as the neighbors pointed out last time.
this is
So-
solid?
No, it's not solid, it's like the pickets, but it's more decorative, like metal fence that you see usually in the front yards, 3 feet, 4 feet high wall. So,
Okay, so it will serve the purpose of safety, but not a visual screen. It'll be
no.
less than a solid visual screen.
Yes.
I think we need a visual.
Yeah, that's why I'm
solid
asking.
screen.
And it's all okay.
The screening requirement is for visual, not so much, we want safety too,
Yeah.
but it's a visual element.
We can do then either a board-on-board fence, wood fence, to blend more with the, whatever landscaping is in the back area, or a vinyl fence. So it's up to the board, like whatever board wishes, we can do that too.
And the applicant is fine with using either of those.
Okay, and what I think we'll do with the fence is hold that for discussion. And we know it's gotta be there, we know it's gotta be a certain height, we know it's got a screen. The board will discuss it, and I'm sure the residents in the area will have opinions on that. So, aside from the fact that it will change from what you said, I'd rather just hold off on the discussion on that till we get a little further along. Everybody's okay with that? Okay, anything else that you wanted to add for the
That's it
record?
for now, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so drainage-wise, they're okay with their proposals, with the pipes?
Yes.
And the cleaning out the catch basins and those things? And the county will have final say on that as well,
Yeah,
but,
actually, that's what I was about to say. Like, we did discuss about the drainage also, and county wants us to design this system particularly like 25 year, 1 hour or 2 hours strong. So we're going to do that, and that will probably increase the size of the driver. So instead of 1, maybe we might have to go 2, which is better for site.
are they making you put a detention basin in, or
No.
detention piping?
No, they are okay with what we have right now. We have a dry well system, so they're okay with that, as
Okay.
long as we meet the storage requirement.
Okay.
You're okay with soil erosion too?
Yeah,
Are you over the 5,000 square foot?
we are over, and we will need a permit from soil erosion.
Okay, because I know there was a soil erosion plan in the set, so that's.
Oh, because I think the last 2 sheets are soil erosion, SO1 and SO2.
Oh, you've got them in the back?
Yeah, SO1 and
That's right.
SO2.
Yep, I've got them.
Yeah.
Okay, another thing is lighting. There were some general questions about the lighting. Is this still your area?
Yes.
Okay. And another question I had was access for emergency vehicles, particularly the larger fire equipment. So I'd like to discuss that as well between the engineer and you guys. But lighting purposes, we all know lighting needs to be screened and properly shielded so that it doesn't reflect off all of the neighbors. So you called for down lights with
It's all down lights.
full screening?
Down lights, fully shielded,
Mhm.
and all LED type fixtures.
Okay, and you guys were okay from the perspective of lumens or foot candles?
We didn't get the stats, I believe, on this drawing. That was one thing we had requested on the lighting.
We did actually, in this revised plans, we did added the table as per the comment, like the intensity of lighting with the average. So we are meeting the average like about 4.8, 4.7, 4.8 from the sidewalk and roadways. So, which is I mean, which is not something overpowering or glowing, but it still meets the minimum safety requirements.
What about on the, that's more in the front, you're saying, right?
Throughout the site.
On the entire site?
Exactly.
Does it need to be that bright on the rear part?
The rear, like again, where the light fixtures are, of course, the intensity under the light fixture will be more. But again, if you look at it, by the time it crosses over the property line in the rear, we are almost very close to zero.
Okay.
So it's not something, and then again, then we have a landscaping buffer, existing landscaping buffer along the rear property line on adjacent lots. Plus now with the solid fence that we're going to put in there, that will
More.
shield it further.
So do you need anything more from them on the lights or the
No, I
lighting
think-
patterns or anything?
The only thing was the freestanding sign in front. I think you mentioned you were gonna provide details there.
Yeah, right now the applicant doesn't know what kind of a sign it is, but right now we are assuming that it might have a light in it, but it's a possibility that it won't. So once we finalize it for whatever fixture we finalize it, of course we'll run it by your office. And,
Well, it can either be an internal light or it could be an external spotlight,
Yeah.
depending on, what they propose. External lights make a lot of waste of light.
No, yeah. So I think that's something like we haven't finalized yet. What will be the sign type, but as far as the distances and the measurements, we have it on the plans.
I would want to make sure that, again, all of this is, if everything goes through, this is one of the things I'd want to have confirmed with the engineer.
Sure.
It doesn't have to come back to the board, but the board can certainly express their opinion as to what they prefer to see. And then ask you guys to make sure that it's going to meet the requirements that we have.
And the applicant agrees to that.
Okay.
I don't think so there should be any issue with that.
We are more than happy.
Access for fire equipment, particularly our new tower ladder, which is, John, how much of a radius do you need on that? Do you know offhand?
I do not, offhand.
Okay. I'm not sure what, I didn't really look at this in detail to see what you have designed it for, but I would want to make sure that somewhere between the engineer and the Fire Prevention Bureau, that you guys get what the minimum that we need for that tower ladder to get to a point where you feel that the proper positioning of the vehicle should be. It's never going to be against the building, but, we should have an automatic area for parking or access so that we would need to know at least it can get there. The engines, I'm not so worried about, they're shorter wheelbase, so.
Yeah, as far as the circulation, like I can talk about, like I think we have enough ample circulation. We have, the way we are proposing the project is along Pequannock, it's one-way entrance, which is a 24 feet wide drive aisle, even though it's one way. And then the exit along Hamburg Turnpike or vice versa. And I think the radiuses we have, it's all open, there are no parking spaces in between. So I think the vehicle, any fire truck, will not have any problem pulling in and out through those two access points.
Good. Okay, board members, I'd like to get, you have any more testimony besides what Mr. Khan went to? Any other experts?
Oh, yes, I have two other experts.
Two others, okay. So regarding specifically what Mr. Khan has testified to, does any member of the board have any questions at this point? Mayor?
Maybe I misheard it. Between the two lots, there's going to be a curb or there's not going to be a curb?
Do you mean in the front?
In the front, where that area where you're going to re-landscape and put that walking area,
Yeah.
is there going to be a curb?
That's what we are thinking of, putting a curb there. Yes.
All right, because I'm just concerned that people are going to see the space if they're trying to run into the stores on the other side and be able to drive right in there.
Yeah,
It's
no.
illegal to start parking there, and then we have issues. So if there's a curb, they can't do that.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the whole idea. We don't want that situation for our lot as well. And I believe, I don't know, like, if you want to talk about it, like the applicant research, there is no existing easement agreement between the two lots for the parking or access.
For
Between the
two
lots.
separate distinct
Yeah,
lots?
two
Correct.
separate, yeah.
If you cut that area in half or by a third, there's not gonna be room enough for somebody to drive in front of those existing stores.
So they park sideways in front, yeah.
No, there won't be, because if they narrow that down by 10 feet or 12 feet and add green space there, you're not gonna be able to get a car in front of those stores.
Okay, I thought it was at least 6 feet wide there, right?
You know what would be
Well, right
interesting?
now, it's
Yeah,
probably
it's more than that.
18,
It's
20
about
feet
28
wide.
feet.
Yeah, but even when you reduce it, it's gonna be 6 foot wide.
It'll be 10 feet wide.
Yeah.
So you could, if there was no curb, you could pull up from the
Yeah,
store and then back out.
but I think we will provide a curve too, like, because that's something we don't want on our lot as well, so yeah.
Just a question about the fence on top of the wall. And we would have to look this up. What is the require, or not the requirement, but the maximum height a fence can be for the property owner? Because now you're measuring from the parking lot to the top of the fence, and it's gonna be 2.5 or 3 feet shorter for the homeowners, because you can't measure from their backyard to the top of the fence. You have to measure from the parking lot to the top of the fence. So how high is that fence gonna be?
The fence is not going to be 6 foot by itself, like, let's say we have 2.5 feet of wall in the back. So it will be like another, the length of 2.5 is like 3.5 feet high
Okay.
fence on top of the wall.
So it's gonna be
from
a
that,
maximum, whatever the maximum is for,
6 feet, yeah.
so, I mean, how much screening does that really even provide?
It will still provide 6 foot of screening for the neighbors. The neighbors will see retaining wall at the bottom, and then 3.5 feet high.
No, from the parking lot, you'll see retaining wall, and then 3.5 feet
3.5 feet,
from
yes,
the.
yeah.
Are you gonna see the same amount, or are those properties higher along Quantic Avenue?
They are higher on the higher side, so they will see probably 3.5, 4 feet.
They're gonna see a 3.5 foot fence, not a.
One thing we could do, again, if this is something that the board would have to decide, is we can put a variance, provided the applicant is okay with it, to say that they can exceed the 6 feet total fence height.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
And that would give you, you could tell them, say, 6 feet above whatever the level of the wall height is, which would provide more screening.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Okay?
So
The
I just want
applicant
to, to complete this, the applicant seeking a variance to allow a fence along the rear side higher than 6 with the amount to be decided potentially during discussion with the board, is that correct?
If the board would want to impose that as a condition of application approval, yes, the applicant would be fine with that.
Okay, so
They
that's,
have, they have to seek to apply, we can't force it.
Yes,
They have
we
now
would,
sought a variance, and that's
apologies,
what I
yes,
want.
we would.
They're
seek to apply
seeking.
to do that.
They're seeking, that's all I want.
so that becomes another if and maybe.
That's
That's
correct.
all. So, good. I'll go with that. That helps. Do you have more, Tim?
Oh, that was it?
Okay. Anyone else?
The signage you were talking about along Hamburg Turnpike, what would that be for? Was it for the stores, for the apartment complex, the 8 apartments or whatever?
The stores.
It would be for the stores. Okay.
And a building number, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
That's right here.
Anything else, Bill? No?
May I please?
Yes.
Thank you again for your presentation. I just had a quick clarifying question, and you probably went over this. Can you just explain what exactly is happening with the landscaping in the front and how this has or has not changed from what we last saw it?
Well, in the front, it's changed significantly. If you recall, like there is an existing parking in front of the stores, which has been eliminated because the county will not allow us any parking along Hamburg Turnpike. And so what we did is we added a sidewalk along Hamburg Turnpike with a green strip with landscaping on it. And then based on the board member's comment, we're going to further reduce this existing asphalt by turning into further green area in the front.
Thank you.
Other board members? Questions? John?
The tenant that's the most south right now, it's a pharmacy. His exit in the rear, can you explain, it looks like on the drawing there is a huge, like, rectangle. I'm not sure what that is there.
Yeah, there is an existing door from that store.
Okay,
So this is the existing door, and with a slight ramp, like to meet the existing grade there. So
Okay.
that is going to be redone because we are proposing a walkway, as I mentioned earlier, from these doors in the back to access the trash enclosure as well as to the parking area.
okay. And then for the restaurant that's there,
It's the same, all the doors that opens up in the rear,
okay?
yeah, they will be having this walkway, sidewalk connecting here to the trash enclosure as well as to the parking area.
Okay, and that'll be a gate there that they'll be getting out, or is it going to be open? How is that
It's
going
going to be open,
It's going to be open,
yes.
okay. The tenants, both the pharmacy and the restaurant, have they been considered or asked their opinion of the project?
I haven't discussed that with me, but my understanding is the owner probably have discussed that.
Okay. I would just be
I'm not sure.
curious, say, for the restaurant, you know, we're talking about accessibility in the front. I know he has some delivery service, so currently he's got disability. So I was just kind of curious if he had his opinion.
I spoke with the applicant, he has spoken with the tenants, and they are okay with, the proposed changes.
Okay. Different topic. In our master plan, it does say that it asks to consider the use of the borough's DPW for parking. Has that ever been brought up? Which is the adjacent property that you have in the back?
That's way down, though. That's depressed quite a bit.
Just saying what's in our master
Yeah.
plan hasn't been considered.
You mean like for this project to use there?
You're short, right now you're
Yeah.
short a parking spot, so that's not been considered.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's been considered because I believe, based on our assessment of the existing uses,
Mhm.
plus the additional use that we are proposing the tenant, I think the lot itself, the parking we are proposing will be more than enough to accommodate both the uses on the property.
And you will hear testimony from the planner on that.
And we're gonna redo that whole area, so we're changing that.
Okay, let's go by the master. Thank you.
All right, anyone else?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes,
I'm still a
Paul.
little confused about the sign that you're gonna be putting up. Could you show us again on here where the sign's gonna be?
The signage for what exactly?
Well, I think it was for the store.
Yeah, the sign, the
Oh,
freestanding
for
sign,
the
yeah,
sign.
yeah, it is like, yeah, it is, if you look at it like, it is in this green strip, along Hamburg Turnpike, the residential, I mean, the landscape area that we have. So this is a freestanding sign that we are proposing right here.
Okay, so right now, there's no signs of any kind.
Correct.
Why do you feel the need to put a sign up? You have one in the front of the stores.
Yeah, it's more visibility for the stores, because right now the stores have only the
Right, on the
building
front of
signs,
the
so yeah.
stores.
So it's more like for, for basically just have a more visibility from the car's point of view, like if somebody's driving, they can see the sign that, okay, there is a deli here, there's a pizza shop, and whatever, so they.
And in
need to stop
addition, they
it.
just asked
Yeah.
to put trees in front of the storefronts.
Yeah, no, I see the trees, but I just don't.
Well, you don't see the
understand
stores
The
then.
need for a sign, that's all.
But if you can't see the stores, you need a sign.
Yeah, unless you are in the front of that store, then you see the sign. This is more for the cars that are passing through, for the
I-
businesses to attract.
I understand what you're saying.
Is
I
that?
don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand.
Is that freestanding sign even going to be visible? It's sandwiched in between two trees.
Yeah, no, it's about, I think 12 feet high.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, yes.
Are these shrubs in front of it?
Yeah, the shrubs at
They're
the.
low, okay.
Are those shrubs along the Hamburg Turnpike shrubbery? We're
Yes.
meaning, like, how tall roughly will they get?
I mean, they have to be trimmed, they have to be maintained about 3 to 4 feet.
Visibility.
Okay, there's something that, obviously, there's has to be a line of sight issue coming off of
Absolutely.
Quantic Avenue.
Yes.
And they have to be something that's attractive.
Yes.
You know,
And
plain
that's
old,
something
plain
we-
old crappy boxwoods are
Yeah.
fine up to a point.
And that's something we will work with the township, to basically to make sure whatever is acceptable, we can choose that.
It's the only thing that deer don't eat.
This is true. I don't know if they're gonna be there on the turnpike, though. They may be roadkill.
I have a question. What if one of the tenants needs to use a handicap spot on a regular basis?
We are meeting the requirements, so if they need to, then that can be dedicated to them. Yes, we have enough as per the requirements.
All right.
But if one is dedicated, then that eliminates the availability for multiple.
Or it can be accommodated by restriping for them specifically, that they can use that handicap space. From one of the dedicated tenant space, it can be striped and can be provided to them.
You have both a an elevator and a stairwell in that. I know it'll be the architect, but both the elevator and the stairwell, we are going to ask, I don't know if you have any input on it, about access to the upper floors for a second location. That's the architect?
That's the one.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right, anything else on the engineer's testimony? Okay, for the public, we're going to open up the meeting after the testimony for public questions. And in case you weren't here at the last time we had this meeting, the way this will work is we'll get all of the testimony, the board will ask questions. That'll help answer some of the things that you might have. And then I will open it up to the public so that you can ask questions of any of the professionals, and you can also ask questions of the board members. And after that, we'll have final comments, and you'll have another opportunity to make statements. The first open session is questions that you may not have had answered, or if you're not sure what something's going to look like, you're certainly welcome to ask whatever you like. And then statements of opinion as far as whether you like something or don't like something or want to see something, that gets done under testimony, and that'll be at the last thing that happens before we go to a vote. So just so that you're aware, we're not ignoring you all, but we'll certainly have ample time to go through things. You want to continue with your professionals?
Yes, please.
Mr. Khan, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's see.
You were sworn in last time?
Yes.
Remain sworn in.
Can you please walk us through the updated plans you prepared and what is now being proposed for this building?
Sure. I'm referring to sheet A2.01 of the architectural plans. These are dated 7/23/2025. These are the latest drawings submitted as part of this application. I think the site engineer kind of briefed everyone on the significant changes to the building. Just reiterate them. So there are essentially two main changes. The stair tower that was on the north side of the building, or the right side, was eliminated and was shifted to the back. It's an elevator and stair tower that's combined, and that's been shifted to the back. And then the second significant change was the number of units. We had 10 original apartment units, and now it's 8. We used to have 5 on each floor, now it's 4 on each floor. The ratio is 7 two-bedroom units and 1 three-bedroom units, of which 2 of those are COA. One of the 2 bedrooms is COA, and the 3-bedroom is a COA. Essentially, that was the change that was made to the architectural plans. The facades basically stayed the same, except we did eliminate the tower to the right, so that's not seen from the front, it's only from the back. The question regarding the number of access points, there is only one access point. It's an egress, it's an entry and egress. You enter to the rear. There's a vestibule, there's an elevator, kind of a mail area, and then the fire stair that goes and connects to 3 floors. It actually is connected to the basement as well, but goes up to the upper levels.
Does that satisfy all the requirements of residential buildings as far as access?
Yes, it does, yeah. Once we eliminated the 5th unit, it allowed us to reduce the 2nd fire stair.
And is this, the updated design still in keeping with the neighborhood?
Yes, yes. And then, in fact, I think the overall square footage went down from 19,700 square feet to, it's on here, 19,191 square feet. So there's a slight reduction in the overall square footage.
Yeah, other than that, it essentially stayed the same from what we had testified to last time.
I don't know how to describe this except to say that in the front of the building where you have the bay-type protrusions, seems kind of, not very private. You're basically looking across 13, 14 feet into somebody else's front window there.
Sorry, where are you referring to?
If you're standing in the one of the bays,
Yes.
right, and you have a side window that looks right into the other one across from it.
Yeah, I mean, this is common, I mean, in terms of like, when you have row houses and you have bay windows, essentially you have conditions like that. Two of the bays are within the same unit, so obviously you're looking at the same resident. The one, I guess the leftmost bay is part of the a separate unit, but it's not a direct line of sight. I mean, it is, they are angled. The whole idea of the bay is that you kind of, when you're sitting in the living room or kitchen area, that you kind of have a nicer view towards the street rather than just like a flat window. So you kind of have a sort of 180-degree view versus just a flat view.
And this is a common feature in this kind of a building?
Yeah, I think when you look at residential kind of row houses or just even homes, they'll have bay windows. It's a nicer feature. I think it adds to the aesthetics of the exterior facade rather than just having a flat block. That it will be sort of faceted and it's a three-dimensional quality to it.
Tell us about the exterior treatment of the building.
Yeah, let me, here's the rendering.
I don't think I have that anywhere.
Let me, I do have the,
Bear with us. There's a slot of it.
We don't get very much visual information on what this looks like to the town and the neighbors to see, what it's going to be like. You have a nice color rendering or something?
Yeah, I do. I was just trying to bring it up. It's not.
Both sides. While we're waiting, Mr. Chairman, it didn't change the COA obligation, right? Reducing the 2 units?
I'm sorry?
Did it change the COA obligation, reducing the 2 units?
I don't think so. They still have 2 COA units, right?
Yeah, I think it stays there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 1 2 and 1 3 bedroom.
Sorry, bear with us for a second. My computer's not opening it up.
Are these renderings that the board has seen before?
Yeah.
Yes, there was a,
That's it?
I thought that was submitted also. It was also last time it was submitted and
I'll
we just
enter
made
it
the
into
update to
evidence
it.
again if needed.
I thought it was submitted.
It's a nice roof.
I think the board had asked for it the last time, had asked for hard copies, but I don't know if they ever got them.
Oh, okay.
This is nice.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't remember seeing a colored one either, but
Yeah, I did have one last time I presented at the meeting.
If you change the scale up and down, it might show the whole thing sometimes.
Try zooming out a little bit.
Zoom out, zoom in.
Oh, there we go.
All right, there it is.
Okay. If it hasn't been, entered as an exhibit already, I would ask that this be applicant's exhibit A1.
If you provide a color, you're gonna have to provide a color copy, hard
That's no
copy.
problem.
Just describe it when you're talking.
Can you just-
Yeah, so what's on the screen right now is a 3D color rendering of the proposed project, looking from the Hamburg Turnpike. It doesn't have a date on it, it's prepared by our office, it just says, Hamburg Turnpike mixed use, Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. So this 3D rendering shows our building and then, sort of the photo montage of the adjacent building. You can see the ground floor has the retail spaces, the upper 2 floors have the apartments, and then those kind of the tan colored bump outs, those are the bays that we were just discussing. And I think it adds a little bit of visual to it. The signage is essentially the same. We are kind of resurfacing that. We're also resurfacing the facade at the ground floor level with new brick. The upper stories will be all stucco material. And then, the bays do kind of protrude out, but they go right over the sign, which, the sign right now extends out slightly over the front of the building. So, and on the right side, we eliminated that elevator stair tower, so it's now in the back.
Is that an IFAS type product on there?
That is that's what's proposed.
What exactly is, I guess is in the materials?
Yeah, it's like it's insulation that has stucco over it, it's like provides continuous insulation and stucco.
The problem with that is it's not very color fast, is it?
It is a light color, so sometimes when you have really dark colors, it'll fade a little bit, but our colors are essentially white and tan, so it won't fade as much.
No proposal to use any kind of faux brick or anything?
Well, we do have brick down at the bottom. That's on the facade.
Can't really see it.
Yeah, the ground floor, I think it has some kind of stone right now, but we're proposing to renovate that and provide new brick on the side.
Is the structural support for the upper floors, what's on the side there, sticking out?
That's part of it, yes. We will have some, the existing building ends kind of where this flat face is, where these little bump outs are, is part of the structural support. There'll be additional columns inside the building as well, but those would be part of the support system.
Is the signage in awning? Is the signage is that one?
Yeah, that's what's there right now.
Right, so there's a setback from the
Yes.
entrance to the store.
Yeah, the signage right now overhangs slightly, kind of creating like a covered walkway.
And the sign among the shrubbery is not shown here.
Sorry? The sign, no, the freestanding sign is proposed is further north. It's not shown on this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to the right of the picture.
To the right of the driveway.
Gotcha, okay.
It's a lot of white.
Have you looked into how the aesthetics and materials of this facade would match the aesthetics or materials of other facades in the immediate vicinity and or in the rest of the town?
Yeah, I mean, I did look down this street. It's really a mix of, different finishes and, they really look like some of these older kind of, retail, one story, 2-story type structures that really didn't, we were just trying to propose something new and fresh on the site.
But it's still in keeping with the style of the neighborhood.
And again, we were trying to break up the character by, creating not just a flat plane, but just 3-dimensional bays that help break up the facade and give us some 3-dimensional quality to it.
I think the white breaks out just because we know our town, we put a lot of brick in, recently, so the white separates it out a little bit. We have a lot of older brick in a lot of the storefronts.
The main reason I was bringing it up, I know someone else brought up brick, I know you brought up brick. I was wondering if it is, better to do something that's cohesive with the rest of the brick structures, or if it is better to do something that kind of sets itself apart. But it was an open discussion.
The building right across the street's white.
Yeah, that's gonna be white.
I think that
If you ever occupied it.
the way the town is sort of eclectic as far as the buildings are. It adds a lot more character than something like Wanacue has, which is all brick. I think the design works well by just adding character to the building. Whereas some of the other buildings in the area, again, it's not a downtown area per se, it's a, but I think it works well.
And just out of, I mean, this small thing, but the protrusions of the windows on the drawing, on the colored representation, they almost don't look like they're bay, they look like they're straight back. Is that true, or is that just the way I'm looking at it?
No, they are 45 degrees. On
They are.
The two sides, yeah. I mean, maybe it's the angle, but no, they're meant to be.
Okay, so it's matching, that's all.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Any of the board members have questions about that? Or any additional questions for the architect? John?
Yes. Just a couple of the mechanical features. So, for example, say fire protection, any sprinkler system?
Yeah, we'd have to
planned?
spring it. That would be required for the residential
Okay,
units.
and where's your fire department connection plan?
We don't, I mean, we'll work with the fire department where they want the fire department connection. I mean, typically it's near the front or, you know, kind of whether it's on the front face or like on the side, but near the front, but, you know, we'll kind of coordinate to, place it wherever they.
Now, with the second floor, what about a standpipe in the stairwell? Is that planned?
We haven't got to that level of engineering, but if that's a building code requirement, then yeah, we would have to provide that.
I know you have currently a restaurant there. They have features of an oven and so forth.
Yeah.
So their ventilation, what's your plan for that?
Yeah, most likely we will have to feed it through to the apartments, and then, you know, I mean, we've commonly done this where we have mixed-use buildings with, you know, restaurants on the ground floor, they have to get flues up to the, past the residential units, and yeah, we'll create a chase to allow for, you know, like a fire-rated chase all the way up to the roof, and then have the exhaust fan on the roof itself.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if that was on the plan.
It's not on the plan right now, I was actually looking at it before myself, but, you know, something we would have to coordinate in sort of the back left unit, and, you know, just have a box out of maybe a 2-foot by 2-foot chase that goes all the way to the roof.
And we would ask that be part of resolution compliance should this get
Yeah.
all of these.
And I guess the one thing kind of missing in the picture is like the power lines. So typically they run along that side of Hamburg Turnpike. But I think the power, goes to another utility pole that's in the back, I believe. Was there any plans for the change of the utility wiring?
No, not right now. I mean, I know it kind of runs on the right side of this parking lot, and there's another pole towards the, like kind of right back here.
There's a pole right on the property line between the two buildings. And then I don't know where the next pole up this way is.
I thought there was one also on this side,
There is.
right side. Right on the property line, I think, or.
There's one in between the two buildings.
That's what I mean, right between the two buildings, there's a pole right there.
There is.
Yep.
Because everybody hits it.
Got a transformer lights on it. Sure, expensive vehicles when you hit tree poles.
All right, so the question is there any plan for any of that changing?
I do see a note on the site plan about relocation of that one utility pole in the back.
The one.
Yeah, and I believe that was discussed at the last meeting as well, that was pointed out.
Okay, all right, because again, as the chairman brought up before, just accessibility, say fire apparatus in the front, but I couldn't go through the back with the big truck. So the only way to gain access from the front is wire going by, it's gonna minimize the accessibility.
Understood.
Okay.
And I know I'm going back a second, but those spots that are against the units themselves, those are for retail, not for renters, correct?
These couple here?
Yes.
Yes, the intention was to have the renters along the back and then on the
So
north
how are you
side.
gonna stop renters?
No, I thought the north side of the building, not the north side of the parking lot.
I thought you said the north side of the parking
Yeah, I
lot.
think it's the north
Like,
side.
there's like 8 spots there?
Okay.
Right, so those are retail parking on
These,
the
yes,
inside.
yes, closer to the building or the
And are they gonna be, I know we covered this, but are they gonna be marked so tenants don't park there, so if there is base for retail spaces there.
We can mark them. And I believe the engineer also testified that the tenant spaces that are assigned will be marked for their use.
Say you have guests over and they look for a spot, they're gonna park in those retail spots. If they're not marked.
Understood.
I would put an hour limit on it or something, 2 hour limit, whatever.
I can certainly discuss that with the applicant.
Any other questions for the architect? Okay, thank you.
Great. Now have my.
Where's the rear?
No objection.
Nope, but matters coming up.
Okay.
Please state your name, spell your last.
It's Paul Ricky, R-I-C-C-I.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Can you please elaborate on your license and qualifications as a professional planner?
Sure. Is this the answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I'm a licensed professional planner since the year 2000. I have a master's degree in city and regional planning, which I received from Rutgers University in 1997. I'm currently a municipal planning consultant to 6 towns. I do additional work as well in other towns. I've been qualified throughout the state, over 250 or so towns. Never here locally, though.
Well, we'll make it 251.
Okay.
Thank you,
Are your licenses current in New Jersey?
Yes, they are.
Does the board accept Mr. Ritchie as planner?
Thank you.
Okay. So can you please elaborate on the variances requested for this project from a planner's perspective?
Sure, and just a little background. As part of my review, I looked at your most recent master plan, your 2017 master plan. I was in the area several times. I did measure some of the signs in the area to give the board information about how our sign package compares to what's out there. Reviewed your zoning ordinance, site plans, had several calls on the case and the like. The project itself, it seems it's really geared towards meeting the recommendations in your master plan. When I reviewed, in my review of the site, it is a site that it does have deferred maintenance. It's not really, in my opinion, providing a really attractive aesthetic in this corridor. And it's really what I think what is occurring here and what your master plan is calling for is what the applicant is trying to work with this board to achieve as part of this application. With that said, it is an existing site that already has some nonconformities. You saw the impervious coverage today at close to 90%. It looks like that's going to be reduced based on the changes that the board asked for under what's existing. And parking today and asphalt today essentially is almost property line to property line. So the extent that we're seeking variance relief associated with those really existing conditions, we're going to seek that on the C1 hardship provisions for legally existing non-conforming conditions in that report. Excuse me. With the remaining variances, we're going to be seeking those under the C2 flexible standard, where we can show we advance the purpose of the municipal land use law, and we're going to advance your master plan, and that they can be granted without a substantial detriment to the public good, namely the surrounding property owners, without a substantial detriment, keyword being substantial, to impair your intent and purpose of your zone plan.
Small clarification, it's slightly higher.
It is slightly higher, but I believe that the applicant is proposing to add some additional green space based on what the board has asked for, correct? That was my setting down?
Yeah.
So I don't have that calculation. Since this application was, I think, 0.6% above existing, it seems pretty logical that it's going to be reduced under the existing condition. So the extent that we're seeking that variance, it's to reduce the impervious coverage below the existing condition today. Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In my review, and I mean, I have a pretty detailed outline, and I'm going to go through that outline. I saw this as an opportunity, again, to provide a new attractive gateway building. We're in your gateway zoning district here, and it seemed to be, again, a significant emphasis in your master plan.
I think it was a tremendous benefit associated with the revisions that occurred since last time we were at the board, particularly that back out parking. I mean, that's a condition that exists in the area at some other properties. I mean, this area developed a long time ago. That's how things occurred back then. We all understand that. That's going away. And hopefully that does provide incentive moving forward for other projects to follow along to that suit. County clearly had a strong emphasis in that regard. Regarding some of the changes, I don't want to be repetitive, but again, this project, we went from 10 units to 8 units. That back out parking was removed. The relocation of the traffic enclosure to the rear of the site. Now, while we are seeking that small, about, I think it's about, I'll give you the exact number in a second, but less than a 3-foot encroachment into the rear yard associated with that trash enclosure, that would adjoin your DPW yard, as I think the chairman said, that's at a significantly lower grade, and there's really no physical relationship between those two sites, and that area is all pretty much treed up as well. So there's no real negative impact in that regard that I see from a planning standpoint. And then some of the changes also, previously, some of the drive aisles weren't conforming at 24 feet. That's all been improved, and there's more on-site landscaping. Since this meeting started, I saw there's going to be some changes to the buffering along the residential property line, maybe with fencing and a combination of the both. So it seems to me here, it's clear the applicant is trying to do its best, take an existing site and harmonize it with the neighborhood to the best as possible. I mean, clearly a key issue here is off-street parking. From my perspective, you know, I work in towns and I testify, you know, parking is one of the greatest limiting factors when you're looking at this style of development, mixed-use development. Your parking standard of 2 spaces per residential unit, I mean, that's what was being provided by the applicant for residential. While it's an adequate standard, it's the same standard for, under the residential site improvement standards for a 3-bedroom, single-family home as well. 2.5 spaces would be the same as for a 4-bedroom, single-family home. So to put it in perspective of how the parking is generally looked at, it's a high and it's a conservative standard. And here, we do have the benefit of all 4 stores are existing, and when you have parking standards, clearly when you have a zoning standard, the need is going to vary based on a use. I mean, the greatest example is typically if you have a ShopRite compared to a food town with the same, I mean, typically that ShopRite has a greater parking demand just because it's a busier land use in the area. Here, you do have the benefit of all those uses are in place in the testimony from the site engineer that the maximum parking that was witnessed on the site was for 14 spaces. So with the 38 spaces, despite the 46 requirement, what was observed on site was a maximum of 14 spaces for the commercial, no residential exists today, and that the applicant would provide 2 spaces for the residential that would be dedicated. So we feel, despite the parking relief, that adequate parking is being provided as part of this land use. And here, there is a balance that is occurring because you do have competing interests. You have the need for parking, you have the need for landscaping, buffering, and the like. So it's my opinion here, in the way that we're delivering this land use, that providing as much parking as we can is a better zoning alternative than, you know, taking existing parking that's too close to the property line and trying to cut that back. The trash enclosure, again, that's a little too close to the rear property line and not meeting all of the landscape requirements on site, despite the fact that we are adding to the site. I did look at your master plan, and I'm going to try not to read every point here, but your 2017 master plan, the gateway area objectives advanced by this project. Promote redevelopment of the borough's southern gateway along Patterson-Hamburg Turnpike to improve the physical design, parking, and circulation, and streetscape conditions. Here, you know, we propose a new mixed-use building with affordable housing, landscape improvements along the entire street frontage, including the
Quantic Avenue, and removal of the front parking. So we advanced that objective. Establish shared parking, municipal parking, and or structured parking arrangements located to the rear of these properties in order to facilitate redevelopment, revitalization of the business district. Again, we're removing that front parking, and we have parking on the side in rear of the building. So we're making that more conforming to your master plan. Establish new use, bulk, and design standards that encourage multi-story mixed-use buildings that are pedestrian-friendly. Again, we have a multi-story mixed-use building with sidewalks along the entire frontage, so we advanced that objective. As a planner, I think it's important also to speak about this project and how it relates to how the state looks at projects like this. And New Jersey Future is a think tank down that provides its own reports and analysis for the public and planners typically look at. And this demonstrates the need that a project like this provides to residents in the region as a whole. And they indicated in 2024 that New Jersey's present housing affordability crisis stems from a shortage of smaller, lower-cost housing options, and that housing costs are among the highest in the country. The state ranks 7th in median rent cost. It says that the state is losing younger households to other states, and evidence points to high housing costs as one of the reasons. North Jersey was recently rated as the #1 most difficult region in the country in which to find an apartment, and that's ROINewJersey.com. And New Jersey Future continues to indicate to create more of the kinds of homes that younger households are looking for in the neighborhoods they want to live. New Jersey should continue revising its zoning and parking requirements so that the type of housing that's needed gets built. I mean, I see this type of housing as you have the 2 COLA units. It's the type of housing that's workforce type housing, people getting started out, and an opportunity for maybe older individuals. They want to stay in town, they can sell their home and have a new place to live as well. These aren't family type units. These are people starting out in my opinion. What I did find interesting as well is that I think, to me as a planner, I at least found it interesting, is that New Jersey has the highest incidence among the 50 states of people ages 18 to 34 living with their parents. And that's 43%, or nearly half, as reported by New Jersey Future in '24. This gives them a place to move out of the house, in my opinion. So as a planner, I think there's a significant need for the type of housing that is being proposed here. So essentially, many benefits could benefit from that as well. I did speak about the trash enclosure. Again, that borders the DPW line. We're trying to move it away, as far away from residential as possible. I think that the site as proposed works. It's a better land use alternative than initially. Again, I already mentioned it's a difference in separation. There's trees back there. We're just a couple feet shy of meeting the requirement. So we're substantially compliant, and we meet the side yard requirement where we did not meet that previously as well.
Can I just ask one clarifying question?
Yes.
We also have the minimum rear yard setback where 35 feet is required, and we are proposing approximately 28 feet. Is the same?
Yes, and thank you. And for the building itself, that relates just to the stair tower to provide access to the building. The majority of the building in the rear yard will have a setback of approximately 51.88 feet, where 35 feet is required. So if there's an area where an encroachment is needed to provide that access to the upper stairs, it's the best place to place it. It doesn't impact views from the street. It borders an area that has a high degree of vertical separation from DPW yard, and has that additional high tree line that would screen it. On balance, the majority of that rear yard setback exceeds the requirements, and we adhere to every other requirement for the building itself, and that building is well under the amount of building coverage that is allowed for the district, at approximately 11% less. So we're not overbuilding here, we're just looking for an encroachment into that rear yard for the stair tower. Regarding the signs, my observations were that here you have a small shopping center with 4 businesses. The applicant, well, part of beautification, while adding those street trees are going to block buildings and signage. So I do believe that there is the need for a freestanding sign here. This site is 2.7 times larger than the minimum lot size for the district. We're seeking a 32 square foot freestanding sign where 15 square feet is allowed. So on balance, your ordinance, the area anticipates this amount of signage. And I did measure in my review of your sign regulations. I mean, it seems clear that the intent is to control appearance here. And that the ordinance itself does not change the permissible size of the sign if the lot's larger, if there are additional businesses or the like. So if you're on a 10,000 square foot lot with one business, you have 15 square feet, or in our case, if you have a lot that's 2.7 times larger than that with 4 commercial spaces, you still have the same requirement. And I believe, despite the slightly larger sign, that it would not result in a substantial detriment to the character of the area. I measured the Gulf sign. Our sign is what, 12 feet high? I'm sorry. Yeah, it's 12 feet high and 32 square feet. The Gulf sign I measured to be approximately 16 feet high and approximately 50 square feet. What I do is I measure one dimension, place it to scale, and then I give a very good estimate of the size of the sign by doing that. And the right-way sign I measured at 22 feet high with approximately 58 square feet nearby. So immediately adjacent to us, there's signs that are significantly taller and larger than us. So it won't feel out of place, in my opinion. Also, it's better suited where we're placing it, surrounded by landscaping, adjacent to the roadway where it could be visible. If it's not placed essentially where it's currently proposed, it would have to be placed in a parking area, which I don't believe would result in an improvement by meeting the 10-foot standard. So overall, you know, it's my finding that this application advances several purposes of the municipal land use law. I'll go through those in a minute, and can overall results in sound land use planning. And again, just to summarize, we're providing 2 affordable units, 6 workforce housing units, making significant improvements to the building facade, improvements to the condition of the parking lot, new landscaping, improved stormwater management, new site signage, and the like. And for these reasons, we meet several purposes of municipal land use law. Purpose A, the advancement of your master plan, promotes the general welfare of the community. I talked about the need for this type of housing, which advances purpose G, to provide sufficient space in appropriate locations for a variety of residential uses. And also, I believe, through the purpose I, to promote desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design. I think this is a substantial improvement to the visual character of the area from what exists today. Regarding the negative criteria, I believe the variances can be granted without a substantial detriment to the public good of the surrounding property owners. Here, the applicant is looking to improve that relationship with the improved buffering and the like, and without a substantial detriment to your zone plan. In this case, the development of the upper floor apartments would not directly conflict or have a substantial detriment to any of the land uses in the surrounding area. Rather, it would implement your mixed-use vision for this area as indicated in your master plan. There's sufficient infrastructure in the area to provide the services. The building is fully conforming to setbacks with the exception of the stair tower, and I mentioned that building footprint is well under the amount of square footage that's permissible in the zone. So we're asking to place some more to the rear yard rather than in other areas of the site. Mixed-use building would exude a positive aesthetic environment, and as we indicated, despite the variance for parking, we believe that ample off-street parking is being provided. In terms of your zone plan, again, this fulfills several objectives of your zone plan. The improvement of visual appearance and site aesthetics, high-quality new housing, and that creation of both low-income and new workforce housing. So again, in balance, I think here the benefits are substantial. The negatives are slight, and I believe that the benefits greatly outweigh the detriments overall. So I think it's a good application for the town and one that I hope the board supports.
Thank you. Does Colliers have any questions?
Thank you.
The NGO Futures report or study that you were referencing, can you provide that citation?
I will, yeah. It was updated, I've relied on it several times. It was most recently updated in 2024. I'll provide you a copy.
Any board members have questions of Mr. Ricky? Seeing none, it was a good presentation. I appreciate the insight on the planning end of it. We don't have any more questions for you, sir?
The only thing is, our attorney said, I didn't mention, because the fence variance may have been added as part of this evening. And I think here, if the board feels that adding additional height provides increased buffering to the residential property owners, I mean, clearly that benefit outweighs the detriment, and that would meet the burden for the fence variance as well. So
Great.
I just wanted to say that as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, what I'd like to do now is take a quick break, and then when we come back in about 5 or 10 minutes at the most, I'd like to have the meeting opened up to the public for questions of the professionals, and then we'll go from there. So we'll break. It's now 9:05.
No, I'm talking.
And just come back, please, in no more than 10 minutes, 5 minutes if you can.
You call.
They're not all bad.
I'm professionals.
Say that again? No. We don't need another roll call.
I think I got an extra one in my bag.
No, I got one.
I got one.
Okay, we're back in session on the meeting. This application is PB 2501. Okay, at this point, I'm going to open up the meeting for the public. Again, it's just for questions. You can ask a question of any of the three professionals that may testifying tonight. And if you do, just come up here and state your name and address for the record, and then go ahead and ask your question, and then we'll get answers for you.
Actually, your professionals aren't in the room. You're gonna have to get them here.
I'm sure he'll be back. There he is.
Okay.
Do they need to be re-sworn in, or?
Mr. Ricky didn't
These are
leave.
questions.
Okay.
These are just questions.
Sorry?
The gentleman. since
I'll throw
you-
it. Okay.
Oh, well, Boots was not here yet. Okay, so I'll start off with whoever has a question, please raise your hand, and then, yes, sir, come on up. You're welcome to have a seat there, and there's a microphone there.
My name's Frank Sneezek. I live at 6 Paquonic Ave.
6.
Moved there in 1983. The reason I'm here is in regards to what you're talking about, a boundary encroachment.
There has to be questions. You'll have a chance to make a statement.
Well, okay, my question would, in a form of a question is, how is this going to be handled if I'm 4 feet over? Where do we go from here? I do have paperwork. Do you want to look at that, or?
You'll get a chance a second time. Like, I know it sounds very formalistic, but we have to do it. The first thing you get to do is, because right now we are at the part where they have put on their case. So their case is on, and then you get to question them. When they're done, then the public gets to put on things. That's just the way it's broken up, and I know it sounds way too technical.
Okay. I mean,
But all that stuff you have to talk about and to make a statement, that'll be shortly
That'll be tonight, and it's gonna follow the questions.
Yes,
Okay, I'll wait till you reach that point.
thank
Didn't
you.
mean to jump.
That's okay. Questions for the professionals? Ma'am? Welcome back.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Kimberly Adams. I live at 10 Pequannock Avenue. Can I ask that the picture that was up earlier be put up so I can?
The building
reference that?
itself?
Mhm, please.
The rendering?
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
please,
yeah.
so I can just,
And what number did you say, Pequannock?
10,
Okay.
right next to Frank.
Sorry, excuse my reach.
Oh, sure. Do you want me to look at it?
No, you're okay. I'll pull it up on.
Thank you so much. Is this the only rendering that was shown tonight, just this first?
You
this
mean,
one, the front?
you're saying of the facade?
Mhm,
Correct,
of the
yes.
facade.
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Before I start my questioning on the facade, is there also a picture of the backside of this facade, so we could,
The architect's gonna
okay,
come up. One
thank you.
second. The architect's gonna come up.
Yeah, there's no rendering of the backside, but there are elevations of the backside as part of the application.
Okay.
Well, the site plan, that is helpful.
Okay, there balconies still on the backside?
There are 4 balconies on the backside, 2 that are behind or kind of on the south side of the tower, and 2 that are north side of the tower. They do face the back.
They fix that, okay. Thank you.
Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a drawing, you want, that's okay?
Yes, it's fine.
It's drawing 8400.
Sorry, I don't have my glasses.
Just point to it if you need to.
Yes. Thank you.
So this image to the bottom left corner of the page is the rear elevation, and there's 4 balconies. One for the apartment on the 3rd floor, one for the apartment on the 2nd floor, and then on the south side of the tower, the middle portion is the tower. There's a balcony to the right of the tower, and then on the 3rd floor, and then on the 2nd floor. So there's 4 balconies.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, if we could go back to the main. Oh, yeah, thank you. I need to see that so I can get to where I need to go.
One that's in half.
Yes, thank you. I heard that the parking spots in the front are now taken out. And can you tell me what will be there? Is that just pedestrian space, or is that for deliveries, or?
See right here, there's green space right in the front.
There's green, and then it looks like there's maybe a walkway in there.
Yeah, the county require us to provide a walkway in front, as you see it in the picture. Then we have a green space, then we have the existing asphalt.
Okay.
And based on the discussion today, I think one of the board members suggested that we replace half of that asphalt space with more green space there.
Okay, and then there's a sidewalk that's now going to be built there.
Yeah, sidewalk is in front right now,
Okay.
by the road, by the edge of the road.
Okay, and then it was mentioned there is a pole that's between the auto parts store and will that be removed? Or is that, what is going to happen? That would carry wires for the, I'm guessing the street, the entire Hamburg Turnpike?
I'll let the engineers.
The pole by the auto store doesn't impact this project. There's another pole by the driveway, the existing driveway.
Correct.
And based on the plans that what we have is like that needs to be relocated. And it will be relocated, of course, away from the driveway. It's where the access drive aisle goes into the building, into the parking area.
So where would that pole be relocated?
It is relocated based on the utility company. Utility company usually design where it is appropriate. It depends upon what are the utilities running on that pole, and they decide like, okay, how and where it's going to be relocated.
So it could be that pole could be moved right into the backside of the homes
No.
that are there?
No, it's in the front, so it has
Okay,
to be
always
within
in the front.
it has to be within the right of way.
Okay. And the other pole that's between right now that you said doesn't affect the project, is that gonna stay there?
On our property, it will be removed because we can run all the underground utilities within the property.
So that pole is coming out?
Yes, it can be removed, yes.
And then the utilities will go underground?
To serving to the property.
Okay, all right.
And we have a note to that effect on our plan as well.
And on the side of the building now, there is going to be tenant parking. I'm sorry, can you see that picture again?
Not on the side of the building, the north, where these 9 spaces, and then the 8 spaces right here. This will be tenant.
Just to clarify, it would be a total of 16, because it will be 2 grades for a total of 16.
Okay, and they'll be tagged, so when, I don't wanna go there. Can I see the main picture again?
Oh, of course.
I'm sorry, it's just easy for me to see.
No, no, it's okay.
Yes, it's the blueprints are. Okay, so the cars that are here on the side where I'm pointing, there's the white car on the right. Those are tenant parking.
Those are customer parking.
Customer parking, okay. And tenants are in the back then?
Correct. It'll be,
Yeah, please.
It would be back there, and then it would be along here, which is not
Tenant
shown on
parking
that.
is gonna be head into the wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Head
Around the
in,
perimeter.
that's what
And
you're talking about.
across from them, towards the property line, is going to be tenant versus customer.
Okay, and where are the delivery trucks and, where are the delivery trucks? Where did they go?
Right now, this area in front of the white car, this is the
The
area
white
that, yeah.
lined?
The white car that you see here?
Yes.
Yeah, this.
So how
this
big is that?
It's about, I would say 12 feet by 20 feet deep.
So it's enough for a panel van or something in that size?
Yes.
And, okay, so what about the large trucks that come to deliver the
We
food?
don't expect any, currently, based on the tenants, there is no large delivery, large truck.
No beer trucks or anything that'll be coming
The
in?
beer, the standard like box style trucks, yes.
Okay. And what about during the lunch hour? There's landscapers who are parking right now in the, can we go back to that main picture?
No, no problem.
Sorry.
I'm happy to help, it's okay.
I'm not an architect, but.
It's okay.
Okay. So they park, now I can't see on this side, but there is the other parking area that is borders.
Comes off of
6
Quonic Avenue.
And-
Photomat.
Yes, Photomat, yes. I remember that. And I'm sorry, was there discussion on what is happening? Are you trying to still put the spots in that
Yes.
area?
Yes.
Okay. And will those be tenant parking?
Customer parking.
Customer parking, okay. So right now during the lunch hour and things like that, there are large trucks who are working, landscapers, they have double rigs, they have when they go to eat at the pizza, where will they park? Do you have parking accommodations for them?
No.
You don't?
No, we don't, and again, we don't expect, like, again, if they're parking illegally there, if they're not supposed to, because we have designated spaces 9 by 18. If the car doesn't fit in those spaces, then they cannot park.
So you
there.
said you don't expect like the larger trucks, you don't expect the trucks that go to the stores now to come after this is built?
There is no provision for providing parking for bigger, like a landscaper who wants to eat lunch in that area there.
Nor is there a
Yeah,
requirement.
there is no requirement.
Okay.
So if they cannot fit their car there, then if they're sticking out, then they're blocking the driveway.
Okay.
Or blocking the path for other cars, which is illegal, and the owner can call the police, and the police can tow them.
Provided he gets Title 39 coverage.
And what is Title 39 coverage?
That allows the police to enforce.
Title 39 is the part of our state statutes that regulates where you can drive and what you can do.
Okay.
And if an owner on private property agrees to give that to the municipality, then the borough police can.
Can we go back to the, okay, thank you. Thank you.
We make a good team.
We do.
So the signage that's up now is against the building, but there's also talk and asking for, me see, the signage. The maximum freestanding sign area. Where will that signage be? I know we have to go back to that
No,
one.
it's
don't we?
okay. I'll let the engineer answer the question.
Okay, thank you. Yes, that's perfect.
And that's proposed, it doesn't mean it has to stay there.
Okay,
So let them tell you what they're proposing.
sure.
You might just have to, yeah.
I know that you're proposing
It's right-
approximately
it's
32
right.
square feet.
It's right here, it's a freestanding sign right here, between the two shrubs.
Between the two
About
shrubs.
midway between Quantic
Okay.
Avenue and the building.
Okay, and that is, you're asking for, the maximum permitted right now is 15 square feet, and yours is 32 square foot sign. So you're asking for, I guess, that to be ruled on, that it's okay to do that?
It's a variance.
A variance.
That's a variance, that's what we are requesting.
And you had, someone had mentioned that they took measurements of the other signs that are in the area, and they're all much larger. So I'm just wondering if it makes it right that, because those are larger, and maybe, I don't know if they got variances, if it, you know, it would be looked at this hearing, right, for the variance hearing, to make a decision on that.
Yes.
I'm just pointing that, trying to point that.
We
but-
will consider size and
Okay.
location, lighting, and the type of sign.
And the height says that the applicant's requesting the sign height of 12 feet. Is that still, or did that change?
That did not change.
That didn't change. And so 10 feet is the ordinance limit, so, okay.
Correct. We are
So-
requesting a variance for that as well.
Right. Okay.
Can I explain something real quick?
Sure.
When you asked, why would you compare other signs?
Yeah.
The reason you would do that is, in order to get a variance, the rules are set on a code. In order to get a variance, you have to say that it would be a good idea, and you have to say it wouldn't have a bad effect on the area.
Mhm.
They're very generalized. And if there's 19 signs that are bigger, what their argument is, and I'm not saying anybody disagrees with it, what you would say, they're saying is, there's a bunch of big signs, we're not gonna make a difference on signs. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing.
Right,
That's
you're just
why
telling
you would
me.
say, that's why it is a valid point
Sure.
to bring up.
And are these well-lit light-up signs? Like, I will let the engineer just find that.
The other signs you mean?
The signs, yeah, the freestanding, is that like a
I'm
big bright
not sure.
sign to?
I'm not sure, but I will leave it to the planner because he inspected that.
Typically, a sign is going to also have illumination question, so like you don't want the thing on all night long
Correct.
bright when it's not in use, or you can dim it. So, you know, there are
There's-
issues that can
Yeah.
be discussed to mitigate some of the concerns.
Mhm.
And the planner can better answer.
Okay,
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
yes, I asked about the sign, the freestanding sign, and if it's well-lit, the brightness of it, is it gonna be on all night?
You're talking about our proposed sign?
Yes, your proposed sign.
My understanding from the site engineer, that has not been determined, but I think it's reasonable for that sign, if it's an issue, to be turned off after business hours, that's traditional.
So, let me ask this, so do you need to provide that information before they can make a determination on the variance, or no?
I mean, I can't say that I know when signs are turned off in the area. I didn't do that type of analysis. I mean, I'm sure that we can demonstrate that the lighting of the sign will not in any way extend past property lines, but you will see a lit sign at night.
Right.
It will be on.
I just didn't know if this is like a staged build, so as things come up, would we come in and review things, certain variances, or no, it's all or nothing?
Well, it's a complete application, whether it passes or fails.
Okay.
Tonight,
Okay,
if we get that far.
okay,
And
right,
assuming that we do, which we
Okay.
should, then there will be a vote on it, and the vote will determine whether it passes or fails.
Okay.
Once it passes, then it passes with all of the requirements that were discussed, and the attorney will prepare a resolution with conditions that say, okay, the applicant is granted an approval, for example, and these are the conditions he has to meet.
Okay.
So if, for example, using the sign, and we turn around and say, okay, well, it's got to be turned off at 10 PM.
Mhm. So this.
That'll be a condition of the resolution, and then when the plans come back to us, they go to the engineer and planner for review. We look at them to make sure and I can't sign off on it until everything is complete.
Got it.
So there's that protection, so to speak.
Okay.
Chairman, just, can I add, there is redevelopment, does have some rules affecting light and types of light that can be used for signs. So this is in the redevelopment zone, I think. So there is some overlay on that, not that they're going through redevelopment, but there are some laws in place for that.
And the applicant is more than happy to comply with any, requirements related to lighting of the signage, as we previously indicated.
Okay.
Now, in the back corner, we had spoke about at the last hearing about the trash, and then I believe that's being relocated now. That won't be in the corner that it was originally suggested. It's going more on the other side by where the auto store is.
I know you can.
Yes, thank you.
Right there.
It's right here. Which is
Okay.
the elevator tower, it's behind it.
It's about as far away as they can get from the house.
Okay, all right, and then you spoke about, for the homes that are right on the side, and a fencing and some kind of aesthetically for the noise and whatnot. Can we talk a little bit about that? What was said about that? Was there?
Well, the discussion was basically that we would consider a request from the applicant to ask for an increase in the height allowance. So that, as an example, if they were to choose this, they could say we would propose a 6-foot-high uniform height fence. And then I asked about being solid, not open, and they said earlier that they would consider either a board-on-board, which is wood, or they would consider a vinyl fence that would basically line the property, and it would provide both a visual and a sound impact reducer. And that's the way it was left. We don't have a detail yet.
Okay, and I just was asking because the concern, of course, the balconies that we saw that were on the back side, and the fence, I'll talk about this later, but it's looking right into our yard, so that's why I
Yeah,
wanted
the
to
height
talk
of the
about
height of the
that.
balconies is substantially above the height of the fence.
Correct.
You can't do it, yes.
Okay, all right.
But there may be, you may have a thought about that, because what they said, without attaching a number, there's a retaining wall and then there's a fence of X height. And normally, it would be a total limit of 6 feet, but they have asked for something above
Above that.
6 feet, that members of the public may have during your statement time, something to say about that, if this was
Correct.
gonna happen. it
Okay.
might be X.
All right, I think that's all I have right now. I thank you for your time. Thank you for flip-flopping between the picture.
Thank you for coming and
This,
talking.
and, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, come up. State your name, your address,
Mark Avenue.
when you get here.
10 Maccorlake Avenue.
10?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, what my wife was talking about is the green space that you achieved in the front of the building, but not along where the residential of the community of Frank's, all those trees will be gone. And in my side of the back where the dumpster used to be, should have some green space, or with the ordinance,
This is
should
supposed to be
4 feet
supposed to be
off
questions.
of the property
Yeah.
lines.
Question, or you tell them?
I got a question. I'd rather see trees and bushes in the back than in the front of the building.
Or question mark at the end of that? I'm out, it's just
It's
supposed
just
to
for
be
questions.
You can say that, these are all supposed to be questions there.
Okay.
You gotta work this out with the missus.
Well, the pole that is existing on that wall, and they propose it to put it into the back, right? That is holding the line of electric coming.
Sorry, sir, he's shaking his head.
Yeah, I'll let the engineer clarify for you.
Okay, the pole that's right now, that's between my property and Frank's property, is right in the middle.
You're talking about this right here, in this
Yeah, I'm
area.
talking about that one right there, that supports the street electric from falling down. You propose to put it to the back of the line. Now, that whole space, that's supposed to be posted down to the ground, so it takes that weight from the street. Right now, that's the way it is. Right now, the pole's here, and there's a line coming down. Where in the back is that going to be posted to the ground so it doesn't fall down?
There is, the pole relocation has to be closely coordinated with the utility company.
JCP&L, yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys
So they-
reach out with
yeah.
them yet?
It's a usual practice during construction projects, they do it, they don't do it right now at this stage. Once the project is constructed, once we have a more detailed engineering plans done, then the JCP&M will come and and then they will tell us like, okay, we can put a pole here, we cannot pull a pole here, we can run overhead here and underground there. So that is all part of the pre-construction.
Okay.
But that has to be coordinated with the utility company.
And one more thing about the
Another question?
delivery trucks. Ample space for delivery trucks to come and go. I know for a fact there's tractor trailers going there all the time. So I don't foresee this arrangement working for them.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Go ask questions, I mean? Yes, sir, step up.
Good evening. Brett Blake, 11 Paquonic Ave. Just could get clarification, how many parking spaces are they short? Are they short now? I know they reduced the units. It was 45, is it, I don't know, there's been a ton of numbers thrown out.
We are requesting a variance for the parking. We are proposing 38 with 1 EV credit and required is 45.
Okay, so 7 spots, clear cut 7?
Correct.
Where are these 7 people gonna park?
We don't anticipate those 7 spaces to be utilized based on the current usage of the commercial space. The tenants are staying there. So right now, the maximum usage during the peak time is between 10 to 14 parking spaces required for customers for retail store, which we have ample space for them to provide.
Okay.
And as the planner did also testify, he testified that he believed the parking was adequate from a planning perspective.
Okay.
When people have a chance to speak, you can say that it's not adequate.
Yeah,
You can ask now.
I wanted to know how many clear cut.
If there are,
right,
that's
so
the
there's
time
7
to give
short.
testimony.
Yes, that's what you said.
Okay.
You get an answer to your question, and you can comment on your answer later.
Okay. My next question is, you're being asked to vote on the final approval. There was no mention, Mr. Keating brought it up, about the fire department connection, any kind of standpipe connection in a stairwell. That's all.
Typically, what is one of the conditions is they have to satisfy the fire department. And, you know, there's change, and I'm not saying anything's
And
getting.
police and the MUA
And police and
and-
ambulance, so
Yeah.
the plans, they'll have to say, they're gonna show the fire department, we have this, we're gonna put the line here, and I'm not saying the words right, and the fire department has to give the okay before he signs the plans and the engineer signs the plans. That's not uncommon, that one, that it's not a thing that you're gonna, you know, everything that the public sees is most definitely fair game here, but some of the technical things with fire department and police and other things, those are left up to those professionals looking at it, saying, now you gotta move it here, you have to put the line here. That's not uncommon.
Okay, I understand. But if the fire department connection is going to be placed in a spot where they have it takes away a parking spot, because you can't park in front of a fire department connection. Now you're an additional parking space.
Oh, then
short.
they have violated it and they
Yeah,
can't.
they have a problem then.
They haven't been
And
approved.
then-
No, they couldn't be signed. They couldn't be signed because they don't have the parking spot.
It
I
comes back.
understand that,
All right. My next question, and they changed the egress. One-way egress and entry is one spot now? Just one way in, one way out in the back?
Where,
You're talking about the rental areas.
The rental area.
So you're talking about back here?
Yeah, is only to get to the apartments above. It's one way in, one way out.
The engineer.
For the cars?
Not for the car,
No,
for the
No.
tanks.
Yeah,
The architect, the
This
architect.
type of building, as architect testified, it has to meet the building code requirements, complying with the building code requirements.
Okay, so what, is that based on the number of apartments? So if you have 8 apartments, you only need,
Yeah, it's based on the number of apartments per floor.
okay. Okay. And my other last question, but long-winded, gentleman testified to the master plan. Did he take into consideration the apartments that are already built? You have, 200 something pending apartments that are not completed that are gonna have to be filled however many other apartments on Wanacue Ave that are still being built. You approved, what was it, 10 already on Cooper Oil property, old gas station. You have the development in the June meeting, right, there was a plan for the quarry that was gonna meet your low-income requirements for a decade moving forward.
That's Riverdale, or Bloomingdale, either
Okay,
one.
but, you know, was that considered? Like, is this, you know, everything was rosy according to him, but, you know.
Good evening, and, you know your town better than I do, and I did, through my going around town, noticed all of the development. I saw it downtown, right by this building, and the like. But no, my analysis did not include that, because my analysis included what the master plan indicated for this specific area, for the municipality, and what your zoning ordinance called for, and what
I
was
understand
encouraged.
it's permissible to be built there.
But it was encouraging, this is a gateway district for it to revitalize and to redevelop. The actual master plan spoke to those elements to encourage this type of development and revitalize this specific area. So I think it's different for that reason. I can't say I analyzed the other areas of the municipality, because
All right, well,
I was focused here.
Yeah, okay.
And just for your information, the state of New Jersey has found a way to make sure that the building of rental and housing units will never end, because they have, every several years, they have a new requirement, and so you struggle in a developed town, as we have here, and most other towns that are like this, to all of a sudden come up with 100 fair share units. Where do you find them? And so we're struggling to get to the numbers that we need for this new round, as probably every other town does. So I wouldn't go by what you see being built, because in a few years, they'll probably double it.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry for that bad news, but we have to deal with that all the time. Anyone else care to speak, ask questions? Mr. Evangelista, welcome, sir.
Al Evangelista, Ringwood Court, off the links. I'm a little bit late to the game, so I apologize if some of these answers have been asked in previous sessions. I have to sit.
You don't have to sit, but you got to come near the microphone.
Come up here. All right, so, first of all, let me commend the applicant, because it's always good to see people that want to redevelop and invest in the borough of Pompton Lakes. I can say that as a long-time homeowner here, it's good to see. So thank you. Some quick questions. There are questions.
Questions, good.
Are there any snow retention areas built to the parking area?
I will let the engineer answer that question.
Yeah, we have a space like in the back, the green spaces that you see, like that can be used for the snow retention.
Will they displace cars?
No.
They will not. All right, I understand there's a gate. Is there a gate between the two buildings, the two building owners?
In the back, you mean?
In the back?
No.
There's gonna be no gate there, it's free and open access?
No, it's sealed.
There's no gate now.
It's cut off.
It's cut off, so you're not gonna be able to go around the building?
No.
Okay. That said, what is the distance between the rear wall of the building to what would be that retaining wall? What is that distance? I can't see it from up here.
Are you saying from
20,
here?
I think what you said was
From there all the way to the back wall? what is-
51 feet.
51 feet?
Not counting.
Okay. Another question. Is this building fully sprinklered? I thought I heard someone say that the basement and the retail is not going to be, but the apartments are.
The architects.
Yeah, it's proposed that the apartment units will be fully sprinkled.
So if a fire starts in the basement of the restaurant or in the retail zone?
We do have to provide a fire rating between, like, the retail tenants and the apartments of each building.
You don't think it'd be advantageous to sprinkle the entire building for the safety of all the rest?
They may consider it, but based on building code, we're not required to.
Okay. Thank you. A couple more and I'm finished. All right, guest spaces. The one thing that I think is Mr. Ricci, is that how it's pronounced?
Ricky, but yeah.
Ricky. He made a comment that was very interesting in that these apartments, and I'm paraphrasing here, but the apartments are not really meant for necessarily older people or older residents that want to stay in the community, but aimed more at the younger population, people that would want to get a start. Am I on the correct wavelength here?
I felt, sir, that it would be likely for both types, people starting out and people that wanted to stay in, potentially stay in town, sell their house and have a new place that they can live in.
Because the reason I'm asking that is I know this for a fact from other towns, where people, for example, myself, I can invest in one of these. These are rentals, correct? All rentals? Or are these for sale?
No, rentals as far as.
These are rentals. So I could rent it as the primary renter, and then I could let to, for example, we're in proximity to Ramapo College, we're in Patterson College. I could sublet in the 3-bedroom apartment, okay, for students. Where do we park? Is that going to be prevented?
No.
Or prohibited?
So typically, in a residential lease, they have a sublease and assignment clause in which you have to get the landlord's permission to do so. And I don't think it is the intent of the landlord to permit sublet. But in any case, you wouldn't be allowed to do so without the consent of the landlord.
Of the landlord, but if he consented, then we could. And then we double our parking requirements, perhaps.
I don't understand what you mean by double the parking.
Well, let's say several people invested in these apartments and then decided to rent them to multiple people, 2 and 3 occupants in the same apartment.
Okay.
Now we end up, instead of having 2.5 cars per apartment unit, we're ending up with 4 or 6. Where do those people park?
So the units would each be assigned 2 parking spaces. That will not increase.
And that's it, regardless of
Yes,
the
they
number
would
of
be
occupants that would.
correct. It's
could
2 per
live there.
unit.
Okay.
2 per unit.
Because I know in Southern Bergen County town, was just recently in there, where they limited the parking on the main street because of that overflow. And it became a problem for the residents, and that's the only reason I ask on that. All right, so I think, the elevator side is the last one. And I'm asking this for a friend. You know who it is. Our ambulance volunteer, not that it makes a difference whether they pay or volunteer. They're answering calls in buildings of this type. And the elevator is not big enough for a stretcher that is fully laid out, flat. So what they have to do is they literally have to bring the patient up to put the backup on the stretcher to get it into the elevator for transport. So my question is this the oversized elevator that will accommodate a stretcher when it's fully flat? Let's say they're doing CPR. They can't sit this person up. They've got to be in a prone position. And it's necessary that they do it. And there are buildings in this area, relatively new buildings that they go to, that do not have that size elevator. So that's.
I'm going to let the engineer.
Sure, absolutely.
Sorry, the architect.
Yeah, so the requirement is, I believe, 44 stories or higher would need a stretcher. We probably would put something larger here just because, that's the only elevator that has the ability to move furniture up and down. So we typically do provide stretcher elevator. We haven't committed to anything here, but I think the size of what's shown there would accommodate.
Yeah, I would suggest that if you do put an elevator in, maybe go.
Yeah, we probably would.
For that reason.
Just to clarify, it is not required that we do that for this.
Yes.
Okay.
And if they get an elevator that's larger, it can't affect the outside of the structure, because
Correct.
then they come back.
Right.
That's why I wanted to clarify, it's not required for this kind of building.
Right. And just so you all know, the applicant is required to comply with the standards or requirements, not to exceed them. But they can. But the other problem is if they don't meet those standards, then they get the variance. So if they've met the requirements, then they've met the requirements, and they have a right to an approval based on that. When they can't, they get asked for the variance, and then, as you see tonight, there are several variances that have to be approved. So, yes, well.
I just have one more question. Sorry.
Hold on. Is there anyone else that would care to ask any questions? No, okay, go ahead, one more question. I don't normally go back to the second time, but.
I thank you, sir. I didn't ask about the employee parking. Where are the employees of the businesses going to park?
I will let the engineer.
The calculations for the retail store requirement is part of including the employees as well. So the employees will park within this area as well. In the customer parking area.
In the customer. So how many spots are for customers?
We have 38 minus 16, right? So
22.
This is 12, 22, yeah.
Okay. There are also in the back, there's like backs of trucks, cargo, just sitting on the ground. Will those be removed?
Currently, you mean?
Currently there is. Is
Yes,
there a plan for
everything.
those?
Everything will be.
Okay, we're done with questions?
Yes, and do I get to ask it?
You got an extra one in there.
Can I submit a document now, or do I wait?
You have to wait. When you make the statement, and
Statements.
if it's documented,
Oh, okay, just didn't want to be overlooked.
you could, but,
Never.
if it's, I'll explain.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions, I'm going to close the public question period now. Thank you for your input. Okay, do you have anything else to add to the testimony from anybody based on what you've heard?
I do not. I have a summation, but I will wait until the.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. I just want to make sure there's nothing that came up that would require additional comments, that's all. All right, so we're going to go to questions that the board may have, see if there's anything else that we need to address. Then I will go to statements and statements from the public, and then we'll take the last stab at it to have any last-minute comments and take a vote. So with that said, anyone have questions right now? You got your share already.
Question,
Go ahead,
question,
John.
or one last question I did forget. Property management, does the owner intend on doing it himself, or does he have a property management company that will oversee the building?
The applicant will be doing that himself.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's up to you. You got it? Okay.
Got it.
All right, any other questions?
I just have one.
Oh, yeah.
This might be overly technical, but the drawing of the bay window almost looked like the bay windows were a little bit recessed. Is that true, or did it just look that way in the rendering?
No, the bay windows protrude out.
There. Okay.
Okay, good. All right, so you want to go ahead and summarize your, I'm sorry?
Public statement.
Before her? Oh, yeah, okay, that we can do that, sure.
Mr. Chair, can I ask one question?
Sure.
On the affordable housing units, was there any testimony on complying with UHAC, or are you hiring an administrative agent? Like, was there any testimony on that before?
No, I know that the mix would be the 2-bedroom and the 3-bedroom. We're gonna have to comply with all the required UHAC regulations, and I guess, I'm not sure how it's done locally, but through your local
Yep.
administration process.
Yes, the requirement will be that they comply. They're gonna have to get approved by Triad, who I think is the affordable housing, Phoenix, the affordable housing advisor, and they're gonna have to have their language indicating the restrictions gonna have to be approved.
I just want to make sure that that's
Yes.
addressed.
Yeah.
So we hire a consultant as a town, and our co-obligation.
Okay.
And that will overcome.
And I think we're fully aware, understand that. The hardest part is to make sure the bedroom distribution is met, and we do that, so.
That, yeah, it'll be one of the conditions approved.
Okay.
It's a good thing to state it.
Okay, now come statements. Anyone from the public wish to make a statement, or if you have something to present, now's the time to do it. Again, come here, state your name for the record and your address, and we're going to limit it to 5 minutes each. It is getting late. We will run the meeting till 11, and we'll see how everything goes. So I open the meeting to public comments. Anyone wish to comment?
I'm going to get the gentleman that just stepped out.
Ms. Adams, are you going to comment?
Yes, I am.
Okay, why don't you start?
Okay.
Otherwise, if no one shows up, I close it.
You remain standing for this, I swear to you. Please raise your right hand, state your name, spell your last.
Kimberly Adams, ADAMS.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God, yes. First, I submitted via email, back the last 2 times ago?
Yep,
I just
just-
want to make sure everyone got.
No, that's, when you put something in by email, that's not part of the record. You have to swear in and say if you have a copy of it. You
Sure, I
want to-
do. Should I get that for tonight, right now?
Yeah, but I'm going to give you this piece of advice here. If you're handing in a document that's 6 pages long and they're going to vote tonight, it's not getting read.
Right.
If you want to read it, you want to state it, or give them a chance to, but just handing out a 6-page or
I
3,
think
I don't
it
even
was
know how.
emailed to them.
But I've been my advice, because you can't present evidence like that unless you're there and sworn in. So they've been advised not to read it, because you can't, because it's not fair to an applicant. If you didn't show up, they can't consider that because it wasn't sworn testimony.
It's just our objection, I'm guessing that's the same thing.
I understand what it
Okay.
just is, but the best thing, you can hand it to them now, but if they're gonna vote soon, it's you can think as well as I can, how likely it will be that they read it, or would you like to state on the record what your objections are? Probably a better choice.
I can do that, I'll just read it, but I
Yeah.
have 5 minutes. All right, I'm gonna,
Your
I'll
choice,
skip a
Mr.
little.
Yeah, it's fine. Just read it and be done.
Okay, thank you.
But it's either you reading it for 5, you stating it, or them reading it, that's my
What
point.
are whatever your preference.
You got 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll take it. Members of the planning board, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm going to skip through the above. We are strongly opposed to this project, and this is on behalf of several of our street members on Quantic Avenue who are here. It's being proposed, and we feel that I'm sorry, I'm just trying to summarize it.
No one's gonna rip it out of your hands or get you out of here in 5 minutes, 2
Okay,
seconds.
all right.
Get all your objections on the record.
So we're strongly opposed to the project that's being proposed by Sarah Realty, especially because the applicant is requesting multiple variances and substantial relief from the borough's land use ordinances and zoning district requirements. These ordinances exist to protect the health, safety, and character of our community, and this proposal undermines those protections. We're also opposed to this hearing being conducted, well, it's going through, so we were gonna ask for stage, so we could be on top of just anything that might develop. We spoke about the front yard parking, we spoke about the side rear setbacks. This just all outlines the reasons why we oppose. The required parking spaces, you've heard testimony to that, and the lacking of that. The freestanding sign, we discussed, the sign height, the signage setback, the shade tree, we've discussed more. I don't know if there are gonna be animals or pets, that was brought up last time, but there'll be, are there grounds for them if they, for pet owners who need to take their dogs out? Or will they be walking them up Quantic Avenue and letting them go on our yard? We have a lot of overflow. I'm gonna just stop, I'm just gonna talk. We have a lot of overflow from cars, from, business owners, from overnight guests who are in the other apartments straight across the street from us. They all park on our streets. They stay there all weekend. They stay there during the week. People park when they take the bus into New York City. Our road is completely distressed right now from all of that. This only adds more to our concerns. We have a beautiful little street. There's garbage when I walk to the store. There's garbage in the parking area. I have pictures of that. When you go through, there's garbage that comes over into our fence area, into our backyard. There is smoking on the back side. There's a smelling of marijuana in the back. These are just all things that, is happening now. So I don't know, no one's cleaning it up. They took the bushes, the trees that divided us have been gone now for years. They just cut them down. It's just a lot now if they want to put in something new with a lot more people and not a lot of space to do it, especially with the cars and the trash and whatever else might be. But that's that. Trash and rodents, I spoke about that last time. I know that the garbage is going to be moved to the other side, but I don't know, that could come into light. And just the construction dust and the health hazards alone, I think, from this construction. It'll generate dust, it will pose a serious health risk to nearby residents, prolonged exposure, and so on and so on. And my biggest thing is my privacy in my backyard. That is the biggest thing to me. Those balconies are gonna look over, I don't know who's going in there, none of us can say, no one can say who they're gonna rent to. We don't know what kind of family member come over and start hanging out with them. They'll be out on the back, if they're making noise, they're smoking cigarettes on the back, that's like right in our yard. I wanna be in the backyard with my kids, my family, our dog. And I think it's a total invasion of privacy for those homes that are right there on the side. So I come with a lot of, not just facts, but I'm trying to understand, but just a lot of emotional attachment to this home I've lived in for over 14 years. And that's it. I do have pictures that are of the employee parking that's in the back right now, of trailers, of...
Let me just ask you 2 questions. Did you take the pictures?
I took some of the pictures, someone else did too.
Yeah, you have to testify that you took them. And
Okay.
do they accurately portray what existed when they were taken?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
You could mark them O1, O2, O3, and if you want to just kind of explain, and you can hand them out. Please let the applicant's attorney see them first.
Sure, of course.
So she has a chance to see them.
May I borrow a pen?
You may.
Thank you.
Right, so where is this?
This is in the back. This is this.
Okay.
That is that.
And
You can see the containers with no wheels or anything on them. This is in the back as well. This is the pizzas they have for fairs and things. They
Okay.
go out, and that's it in the back.
These are the people you want to hear. She's in favor of it. These are the people you want to convince.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was just kind of explained. Should I talk about it?
I apologize.
You can
I'm
tell
asking
her,
for
but
one
then
thing.
tell them.
I'm sorry. I was
This
just
is
asking.
up front, this is up too. And these are at lunch for all the people
We told her
parking.
she has.
Excuse me, Andy, exhibit, what was it?
O1, O2, she'll be naming them.
Yeah,
And I think at the end, they'll say. how
Only the
many
ones
there
you
are.
took.
Yeah, the pictures that you took.
Yes, I took that. Oh, no, Blake's printed it for me.
Okay.
But she's here if you want, because her name is on that.
She
But that
needs
was
to
my
testify, the
picture.
person who took the
Okay.
picture needs to testify, yep, I took it, and it's an accurate representation of what existed.
All right now.
Same, yes.
Okay.
Is this the photographer?
Yes.
May I swear you in real quick? Please raise your right hand, state your name, spell your last.
Caroline Blake, B-L-A-K-E.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you'll give this evening before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. The pictures that are taken that are being marked O1 through 07 or 8, did you take the ones that are being indicated?
Yes, I did.
And do they accurately represent the property at the time you took them?
Yes.
Okay.
The best thing to do would be to explain to the board what those pictures represent, and why you believe they're relevant.
Briefly. We had concerns about the parking spots. Parking spots have always been a big contender of our worrying because it floats into, like I said, onto our street. So this first picture marked as Exhibit 1.
There's parking here, there's the employee parking, plus there's like a, what is it, the steel container back there.
No
This is-
wheels, just parking.
Yeah, just that, then there's the pizza thing that you take to Lake Pompton Day. That's all for Kings and Sons, so where are they gonna park that? Here is a better picture of Kings and Sons thing from there. It sits back there 90% of the time unless they're not there. Then this is the empty lot. This is the way people park. We just were taking pictures they're just going across the street just to prove the story of the box trucks. This is how big some of them are.
And wait, and on this one is the
Oh.
telephone pole that we've been talking about and all the electricity and poles that come out of it. You'll see it's quite a bit. This one, yep, this is, yes. a
Yeah.
pack- Yeah, drop off, delivery, parked out front. That's
Another-
exhibit
yeah.
4, exhibit 5.
I know they talked about no landscaping thing, but if they're gonna do landscaping, there's the trailer and the parking that's out into the, like,
Hanging.
where you drive through and get around,
Yep.
then it's just the way they all park. I mean, you know, it's, yeah.
Exhibit 7 has a combo, right on of the landscaping, the beer, I think that was a beer truck.
Beer
a
truck,
very
yeah.
long beer
The
truck.
beer truck
They're not box
is in
trucks.
along the wall closer to the Quonic property, and then there's a trailer for they all go to Kings and Sons for lunch, and then that's just more parking in the back, so it's just where they
It's
all.
just something.
Hand them to the board secretary, and then the
Thank
board
you very
can look
much.
at them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
For your time, thank you for your listening, and,
Oh, no, I
Oh.
think they may want to respond, and I was just indicating to the chair that they
should
may
I
want to
stay?
respond.
No,
No,
you're good.
I will if you want.
Unless you have questions for us, you do, then you can. No.
Oh, no. May I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, they mentioned
This is just response.
This is just a response to
Yes.
the statements and the photos. I don't have the exhibit numbers in front of me. Several of the exhibits showed a container and what looked like some kind of pizza food truck. As we previously testified, those things will be taken away. I believe that question was already asked. With regards to the illegal parking, I believe the engineer testified on that specific matter, wherein if a landscape truck were to park in one of those spots, it would then be blocking the flow, and we would be able to tow that vehicle, presuming that we met the, I believe it was Title 39, regulation with the town.
Okay.
So I just wanted to clarify that for the board, that those things were addressed and will be addressed by the applicant.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public care to make any statements? Come on up. Sorry we have to make you come up twice, but there's a certain procedure we have to follow.
Stay standing.
You can remain seated. Please raise your right hand, state your name, spell your last.
Frank Snezak,
Spell it, please.
Sniezek.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening before this
Yes.
board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's been 42 years since we bought the home. And at that time, at the time of the closing, they told us there was this encroachment, 4-foot encroachment. And when they told us that at the last minute, we went ahead, my wife and I went ahead and did it. So if there's any, I don't want people thinking, well, you did it, you didn't care, but that was a circumstance that.
Mr. Snezak, when you say a 4-foot encroachment, they don't know what part of your property, where, who, what? I think that's the question. I'm not sure that anybody knows what exactly.
No, that's why I brought these pictures.
Yes, please.
Are those copies that can stay with the board?
Yes.
Okay. You can sit, someone will get them for you, but explain what they are. Just, when you say an encroachment.
I'd rather give it to you, because a picture's worth a thousand words.
Watch the wires.
Are those, excuse me, the pictures that you gave, are they all the exact same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, what block and lot is this? I don't see it on, this looks to be a survey, but I'm just not sure what block and lot
On
this
it,
is.
Canberra, he's right, oh, sure. No, this is not all the same.
No, it's not, there's a lot of different sheets of paper.
Except for the
4-foot encroachment.
Wait a second, before this happens, just the survey, we need to mark this that's being considered.
Yeah.
How many are been marked so far?
That was exhibit 8, so
So
it'll be
this would
exhibit
be
9.
09. And can I just, let me just, I'm looking at what is going to be marked 09.
This is all part of it.
Okay. And it is this appears to be a survey
That's everything.
done for Frank Snezak and Carol Ann Snezak, dated January 20th, 1983. And it shows Patterson Amber Turnpike and Pequannock Avenue. It does not have a block and lot on it, but that's the sheet. I think you're going to need to explain.
It's the same. I just want to make sure this is what I
I
have.
think so, yes.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to explain, I don't mean to jump in, what you mean encroachment, who's encroaching on what? That, and I don't mean to be good, but they,
The driveway is, when they put the driveway down, that was a vacant property, the next door, where they're gonna use parking now. And, well, maybe. What they did, they ran out of room, I guess. They didn't have enough room, to accommodate 10 feet for a driveway. And that's why, and since it was an empty lot, next, to her, that was allowed, I mean, I don't know, I wasn't there when that happened.
again, I do not know what you're saying.
Really?
Let me guess. Are you saying that the driveway?
My driveway,
Your driveway
Oh,
yeah, my driveway,
is on your property or is on their property?
on their property. 4 feet. But we signed off on it because they said there, I forget who said it, at that meeting for the closing, they said, oh, that's okay, don't worry about it. At that time, the owner of the.
Well, Mr. Chairman? Yeah, maybe this would help if your engineer is able to look at that survey. I don't know if there's any way to, maybe we can't tonight, but determine whether.
Show on this survey.
The plans that you are presenting to do.
It shows it on the existing conditions.
Will they take 4 feet of driveway that he's been using, that appears, that he believes to be overlapped?
Is that part of this board's decision?
They ought to know. It's not the decision, they can't give permission to do it. But he thinks, he's saying he has a driveway that he uses that's on their property. And if in fact that's true, when this gets built, is he gonna have a driveway that's 4 foot narrower? I just want to at least,
That's it.
for the board to know. I want to, and I think everybody's talking, we're not getting any records.
I didn't.
Stop, nobody talking. We're trying to keep it clean, we're trying to keep a clean record. One person at a time, you can always come back. I think that's the issue we have, that I'm just assisting, get this on the record. Record's gonna reflect that everybody's looking at the survey while.
That entire 100, that entire.
Can we get a copy down this
100
end?
feet is 4 feet over.
Yeah, I think, his property, his drive is encroaching onto our property, 4 feet.
It shows
But
on
that's
your-
the way I
shows
bought
on
it.
your
I didn't
drawings.
put that driveway down.
C02?
Yes.
It shows that line that's on that
Yeah.
survey on your
That's,
drawing.
that's why the 1983 date is important. I didn't do it until we put the house.
But I don't think so there is an easement recorded or dedication or anything recorded for this.
no, there's, as far as I'm aware, there's nothing of record related to it, so it's his encroachment onto our property, which should
Okay,
not
so
be there.
I'm gonna ask the question that seems to be kind of hanging out there. Because it shows on your plan, C02, the line that he's pointing out in this, what is your intention to do with his driveway for those 4 feet?
We have our existing, we have our parking spaces going in there. So
your intention-
it has to be removed, yes.
You're saying that you're gonna remove 4 feet of his driveway?
That's not, it's not gonna be.
Please, let's, we have to be able to listen to people. You can finish answering the question.
Yeah, again, based on our plans, like that is going to be utilized for the proposed parking that we are proposing there. And there is no record easement or anything.
That's argument, we just want to know what's being done. There's plenty of time for argument.
Okay.
If the chairman wouldn't mind, can I have a 5-minute break just to review this, since this is new information for me, if you don't mind?
5 minutes is fine.
Thank you.
Let's keep it short.
Don't touch it, then.
I knew they.
I wasn't clear about it.
It's okay, it's
Okay, so where we are right now is we're discussing the application, or not the application, the easement that Mr. Stezak showed.
The use that he
Yeah, I don't wanna call
Easement's
it
a technical
easement.
term.
Yes, thank you.
Use.
The use. So I did have a little bit of time to review. This does not have any bearing on the approval at hand. This body cannot judge the validity of this, whether it is an encroachment or not. They do not have the power to do so, so it should not have any, should not have any bearing on the approval tonight.
Does now my driveway stays intact?
Can I give a-
Mr. Brewer, let's hear your official opinion.
There's a bunch of issues that, let me see if I can lay out the issues quickly and explain why generally this is not something the board would be able to decide. The issue when there is a confusion or dispute about who owns or controls a piece of property, there's a principle of law called adverse possession. If one property owner owns 100 square feet, but there's a piece of property next to it, another 100 square feet, and that person for 21 years or more openly and adversely possesses, which essentially is tell the entire world, that's mine, it's not yours, and I know it's mine, it's not yours, despite the fact that person is wrong. There's a principle of law that if you go to court and you prove it to a judge and a jury, then in fact that you would then own the property. But that requires a judge and a jury to decide that because there's a factual dispute. Were you in adverse and open possession of that property for the longest time? This board there's no jurisdiction for them to make that decision. If it very well might be that if you go to court, the judge would say, no, they can't build this because you've owned it and by adverse possession. But that's not something this board can do. This board can only look at property lines as they're drawn. I wish they had that ability, but they don't. If they voted on this basis and denied it because of that, the judge would overturn that decision in a heartbeat because they don't have the power to do it. So that's my issue. You very well may have a very good case,
leave the door open.
but it can't be done here.
It's been like that for.
And that's the point. That's the judge that has to decide it. If in fact they did it, there's no way it would stand because they don't have that power.
Well, then that means I have to get a lawyer and a real estate lawyer.
I wish that was not the case, but I'd have to give this board the advice.
That's my only recourse.
I have to give this board the advice on what they can and can't do, and that's not something that a court would uphold.
Well, that's what I came here for. I know it wasn't going to be taken lightly.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it.
I was hoping that you guys had the.
You don't have the authority.
All right, but
You put them on notice and the property owner knows, and that may be a risk.
Nobody ever heard of this kind of a situation?
It's called adverse possession. It's been happening for the last 400 years in our jurisprudence. It happens, yes. It is a well-known legal principle, but it is something that a judge and a jury must decide. They would have to hear evidence on how long you had it. Did you tell the world, no, they can't use it? There's a bunch of different things that go into it. This board simply can't do that.
When my wife and I bought this house, and they threw that at us on the closing, that there was an encroachment, I knew it was going to be trouble, but it took 42 years to...
That come to fruition.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have a statement to make? All right, seeing none, I'm going to close the public I'm going to close the public session. And we are now with a complete application from the public's perspective. I'll look for statements from you, and then the board will discuss and decide.
Okay, at this time, I would move to have applicants exhibit A1, the renderings that you all saw tonight, moved into evidence. I will keep this brief because we have taken up enough of the board's time. As evidenced through the testimony you heard today, the proposed work consists of an addition of 2 stories onto the pre-existing single-story commercial building to provide for 8 residential units. To complete the proposed project, the applicant is seeking several variances for the project, and such variances are supported by the testimony you heard today.
Can I jump in?
Yep.
Before you finish, decide exactly what the height variance for the fence is being requested. Because you can't request a height variance, you have to have height variance for 6.5 feet, 9 feet, 12 feet. It has to be something that you're granting. And that's if they grant it, but you have to ask for something specific. So put that on the record. You may want to consult.
While they're doing, I got a question for you, the attorney. Can this board, us, go higher than the ordinance?
Yeah, that would not be, that would be a bulk variance like the parking space.
So we can go, say it's 8 feet, they can say 10 feet if they wanted?
Yes, you can grant often, we've had them on the corner lots with, you can't be more than 3 or 4 feet, you've given them up to 5, yes, you're allowed to give height variances on fences.
Mr. Chairman, I did look up the requirements for fences. In a non-residential zone, you're allowed up to 8 feet if it's an open, like a chain link type fence. If it's solid, it's allowed 6 feet.
The fence itself, 6 feet.
Correct.
Total height, if it is,
height.
total, so if it's a 3-foot retaining wall, you can have a 3-foot fence on top of it, permitted, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Do you want me to start from the top, or?
Go ahead, continue.
Okay. So as indicated by Mr. Brewer, in addition to the variances we have already requested, we would also seek to request a variance related to the fence, in which we would request 8 feet in total with the wall included, as the engineer has testified to. So it would be 8 feet in total height. I believe the wall is about 2.5 feet, so it would be the fence on top of it for a total of 8 feet. The applicant has worked incredibly hard on this application and is taking into account all of the comments received from the board and the public, as evidenced by the additional fence request after further discussion with the board here tonight. Ms. Adams, I believe, mentioned something very interesting. She called her neighborhood a beautiful little neighborhood, and I really like the way she put that. Through this project, the applicant wants to enhance this neighborhood and keep it a beautiful little neighborhood. They want to make it better. So I thank the board for their time and consideration on this matter, and I hope that the board votes to approve this application.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have to discuss the application as it's been presented with modifications, with variances, and I'll start off with some comments, but I'm going to ask each member to comment as they see fit. A lot's been done since June, and I want to thank the applicant for taking the time to go through the process of revising the application to what we see tonight. It's substantially improved in several areas. There's a couple of unique things that appeared from this application, but not something that we can't make a decision on. I don't find the variances to be extreme in any fashion. The variances that are requested are, I don't want to call them de minimis, but they're not really any major variations from the zoning. So that doesn't bother me. The appearance of the building is good. The site itself looks good, and it's a distinct improvement. The only thing that concerns me is the vision down from the balconies towards the residents. I think that's a legitimate concern. I will ask this question, and you can tell me whether or not you want to even pursue it. But the question would be are the balconies something that would be nice to have, or are they absolutely necessary for this applicant to do the project?
They obviously cost more, it's easier to eliminate.
Or a French balcony, either one,
So I have consulted with the applicant and his architect. We are fine with doing something like a French balcony if that would be a condition that the board would.
Well, again, this is from my perspective, it's the board's decision, but the variances are not a problem to me. The building is not a problem to me. It's certainly doable based on master planning, but I do think privacy is important, and that one item alone, we've helped it by adding the fence a little higher. We made sure that the lighting is not going to be blown on the other side of the property line. If we can eliminate the balconies, where that'll also eliminate some of the outside concerns for smoking and noise. French balcony, for those that don't know, is basically like a false balcony. It looks nice, but it doesn't allow someone to stand outside the building. Am I correct, Mr. Guthrie?
Yes.
Yes. So basically, it would still look fine, but it just wouldn't provide an outside location. With that said, and with the understanding that we just got from the applicant, I would be in favor of the application, and I would like to hear all of your comments regarding, so who wants to go first? John?
Okay. All right, so I have concerns, plenty of concerns. Not that concerned. But, let me start with fire department access. You removed the north stairwell.
The second stairwell.
Correct.
Okay.
So now the only access is in the rear. I did make a comment at our last June meeting that I'm not concerned about apparatus going into the rear because I can get a hand line, say if there was an incident on the second or third floor, I can access that north stairwell. Now I can't. So now the truck has to go around the back. I heard that it's not required because it's only 3-story for the standpipe system. So now that kind of leaves me, I have to put a truck back there in order to get a hand line to the second, third floor. So that's my concern. That's number one on the safety. Number two is the ladder truck. Talked about turning radius, but then again, I didn't get a full answer on the power lines. I heard something's going to be moved, something might not be moved. If I did have to get access with the tower ladder to there, I'm afraid I might not be able to. So, and that kind of limits and that's kind of my safety concerns there. Number two, the planning board. This is called the Gateway District. So the gateway, when you read the borough ordinance, it says intended to offer a transition. So we're transitioning from the Wayne side, which is more commercial, the CVS and a car dealership, and then it's supposed to transition into the residential. So once you get beyond Pequannock Ave, it's all residential. To me, putting that building there, kind of, as the planner said, is going to put more residential on top of the commercial. So now you've got this building and you're not transitioning. You got everything's kind of low story and then it goes into residential. So my concern is, again, from the master plan, this intent was supposed to be a transition, and that's going to change that. It also says community-oriented commercial and retail uses. Now, again, I'm picking the words because right after that I have to say professional uses and where appropriate, multifamily residential. So I don't want to spin on it, but community-oriented commercial are encouraged in this area. I don't see encouragement to the two tenants that are there. Now, I know the third tenant obviously is the owner of the building, but for the pharmacy, you just blocked off his front entrance. The pizza restaurant is now blocked off in the front, blocked off in the rear. How's he going to get his access? And I just heard from pictures that his food truck might be removed. I don't know if we asked if the tenant was here right now. We asked him, hey, how do you feel about that? He's perfectly fine. I disagree. So I'm thinking from the master plan, I don't think that was the intent. The last part is, and again, I use Pequannock Ave coming from Ramapo Ave over to Hamburg Turnpike, and it is very congested there. I now know why, because there are other say the residents across the street are parking there. And again, we are not, again, we don't know who's going to be renting there. And we could say, yeah, 2 parking spots, that's enough for each place. That has not really been proven in the fact. And even just recently, this board approved 5 parking spots for another place 3 blocks away. I'm disappointed that in our master plan, when it says consider use of boroughs DPW, it wasn't brought up here. That to me would be a nice, you could build a very nice walkway down and have plenty of parking spots down there, depending on what the plan is for down there. But I'm just saying it could have been considered. So, so with that, I'm not in favor of this applicant, and that's where I'd probably lean. Thank you.
Anyone else care to comment? Sure, Mike.
I like the presentation, I think it's a good job. I think what we're looking to do is make buildings that'll look a little run down, look better. And that includes putting some residential on top. I have no issue with that. I disagree with some of the things that were brought up just now. In the fact that the gateway is the gateway entrance into our town, which we want to make look good coming into our town. We don't want it to look at. However that works to make it look good is what the word gateway means. Paquonic is a beautiful street, you know, it's one of the nicest streets in town. We do have ordinances in our town right now that allows anyone to park on any street at any time. We can't isolate one street and say we don't want parking on that street. Because once we change that, we're changing the whole dynamic of what we do in our town. Every street's gonna say, I don't want parking on my street, okay? It's first come, first served. It's the way we've been, it's the way we've always been. So I have no problem with the project. It's upgrading a building that's not looking so good right now. It has plenty of parking. Redevelopment projects that we're using 1.5 as our number, not 2. We're using 2 here, which is higher than we're requiring on the bigger buildings that we're building in town. And I think the planner mentioned and other people mentioned, right now, this is the future of New Jersey. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, this is what's being built in New Jersey right now. They're not building homes, there's no space to build these homes, they're building apartments. If we want people to grow and live in this community, we gotta provide space for them to do that. So I support the project.
Thank you. Anyone else comments? Mr. Bowlby?
John made some very good points, a couple of which I was going to touch on, but he did a better job of it than I could. I have some concerns about the balcony. When people who live on Paquonic Avenue moved in there, that was not an issue. It is now an issue. Privacy is very important. Parking also concerns me, especially we've seen evidence that there would be trucks, bigger trucks than maybe what was described, beer trucks, tractor trailers. And the customer parking is also a concern. And I have long held that, let me back up a second. I grew up out in the country, and it always amazed me that someone would buy a house next to a farm and then complain about the smell. Well, my position has always been that if you were there before it, you got a right to complain, and that's what I feel is the situation here. These folks were here before this project was ever envisioned, so I am not in favor of the application.
Others?
Well, I have comment, but I guess I'm not allowed to make a decision based on stuff that we heard here tonight. So I do not like the fact that somebody may be forced to narrow their driveway by 4 feet to a driveway that's going to virtually be useless after 42 years living in a home. His driveway is going to be rendered virtually useless. You know, I hope he does go to court, and I hope he does win if this project does go through. One suggestion or comment that I do have, if the project is approved, is the sign location, the sign that everybody's seen, the freestanding sign. Again, we're talking about 2 pieces of property that are both retail spaces that butt up against each other. Why don't we take that sign and move it from all the way over on the right and put it on the property line between the 2 pieces of property, which will create more of a barrier to also discourage people from driving through from the bagel store onto this property. It'll be tucked all the way over to the side. It'll alleviate any problems with lights at night, and it'll tuck it off out of the way. So.
Just to comment on it, that is certainly something the applicant is willing to explore.
Just a suggestion.
Okay, any other questions?
Don't know if the project will make it that far, but we'll see.
Just one comment. I would ask the applicant going forward with any variations in any part of the process to just act in good faith when it comes to being a neighbor. The fence, any lighting, just be honest and give them a chance to be heard.
All right, some question about the access for that 4 feet and the fact that it would go to court possibly or not, but the board should vote independent of that. It should be based on the application.
It is my opinion that you don't have the jurisdiction to take into consideration a dispute about ownership of property that's not somewhere in writing.
Right.
Their adverse possession, which what was described at least falls into that category as a possible. Mr. Sneezak may own that property via adverse possession, he may not. That's not something that this board has the authority to decide.
Right,
It
so
would be-
what I'm saying is we need to kind of ignore that issue.
It's my opinion that cannot be a basis for your decision. It would be subject to being reversed if they challenge it.
Okay,
That's
what
my
I was-
opinion to you.
Thank you for
You
putting
may
it in there.
very well win that in court. That's not something that you would be able to make the decision on.
So, and I agree with what you're saying, and if it did go to court, which seems like it should, what happens to that project? It freezes until court?
It's probably like anything else. It's a challenge that they would have a risk that they are building on a property that is ultimately determined not to be theirs. They'd have to tear it down. They wouldn't have the parking spaces. They would never be able to get a CO if that happened. Typically, that doesn't happen automatically. Typically, if they're about to tear up the pavement, and the judge thought that there was a good case, and I'm winging it here, a judge might say, no, I'm going to put a temporary restraining order until we figure this out. I don't know that to be the case. That's something that could happen. I'm not saying that that is a likelihood at all, but if the facts bore that out, that's a possibility. I don't know how likely any of that is. Those things are possible, but that's for a court to decide. All those things I'm saying, those various ways, that's why this board shouldn't be doing it. That's for a judge and a jury to decide.
There's another question for you too. I want to make sure that whatever decision this board makes needs to be supported by the facts and the requirements of the land use law as it applies to our board. So, for example, the parking variance that they're looking for, some people have suggested that it should be higher than 2 spaces. Some people said, well, it may not be good for trucks that park there. I don't believe we should be considering that because it's beyond the scope of what's required. So, for example, if we grant the variance for parking, it's because we feel that they're not going to use as many spaces as might be required. That's something that we can do. But to say that we can't approve it because a landscaping truck may pull up and take up 5 spots is not something, in my opinion, that we should consider.
Potentially illegal parking is not something you should consider. If you don't, it is a consideration on whether or not there's sufficient area to load and unload deliveries that will go there.
Yes.
But illegal parking and improper parking, no, that is not something.
And the same thing with the number of spaces
They
per
can't
unit.
control, they can't control someone coming in and parking illegally. They simply can't do that.
Right.
So you would not be able to deny this by saying somebody may be coming in illegally parking on your property. That wouldn't be fair.
So what I'm trying to do is narrow down some of the objections to see. I want to make sure that whatever we vote on is correct for us to be voting on. And I don't believe the issue of, well, it could be a big truck is a proper issue for us to vote on.
Illegal parking is not something that you should. Deliveries are something you can, but illegal parking, no.
Right.
Because that can happen and they can't control it.
And that happens all over, by the way. So, did you have a question, or?
I was simply going to make the comment that based on the master plan, based on what has been said about the way that we define a gateway, the purposes of this district, and then also based on what both the chairman and Mr. Brewer, you have said, even though I am an alternate, it seems to me as if what we are allowed to vote on leads us in the direction of approving this project, and that the variances have been, addressed and, within reason. I just wanted to say that I agree with those
well,
points.
that's
and I
appreciated.
consider-
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I just wanted to address one point that you, Mr. Keating, had made regarding the standpipe. I believe there actually was testimony from the architect indicating that we would be willing to put one in to address that concern that you had and to work with the fire department. And I would ask if, the board were to grant us an approval, that would be, part of resolution compliance, working with the fire department, MUA, et cetera, as needed. I just want to make sure that your concern was addressed.
Thank you.
Of course.
I think the applicant's addressed what he can. I think he's done a good job of removing some of the, what I would consider obstacles. So unless there's other comments, we can take a roll call vote.
I want to make sure on the vote, we have nine-member board, only, so we can only have would only be 9 people voting. Anybody that was not, so we have to go full membership, and I think one of the members was not here, so we'd go to an alternate.
You
The
were not
first
here?
alternate, because
Oh, no, just Bill.
Yeah, because you, only people that were here. The alternates, if you were here last time, the one alternate can fill in for 9 votes.
Were you here for were either one of you here for the June meeting?
I was here for the June.
June meeting, okay. So we would have
So alternate
8
one can
plus
vote.
alternate 1.
You got it, okay. Now, you need a motion.
Okay, so I need a motion, and any one of you can make the motion. If you don't want to, I'll make it, just as long as we get a motion out one way or the other. I'll make a motion that we approve the application with all of the conditions and changes that were discussed tonight, which the attorney will have in his resolution. Second, anybody?
Second?
Second, okay. I want a roll call vote on this, please. Any other discussion before we vote?
That was Bootsma on the second?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Any questions on the motion before we go to a vote? And let's call a roll.
Mr. Simone?
Yes.
Mr. Otto?
No.
Mr. Trost?
No.
Dr. Pendexter is not, so
Okay.
he's just, okay. Mr. Bowlby?
No.
Mr. Keating?
No.
Mayor Sarah?
Yes.
Councilman Quinn?
Yes.
And Mr. Bootsma?
Yes.
And Mr. Foster, because you have to have 9 votes. And Mr. Foster?
No, he doesn't vote.
He doesn't vote, he wasn't here.
How many votes
Oh, I
do
was there. I needed my vote, but yeah,
Oh,
we need 9 votes, right?
What'd you get?
2, 3,
I believe that was
4, 5, 6.
You got 9, or you got only 8?
Yeah, that was 8.
That was 8.
There's only 8 valid members? No,
Dr. Pendexter wasn't here for the last meeting.
okay.
There's 7 up there, me, 8, and 1 of them none.
So we've only had 8
Yeah,
people.
but Bill wasn't here.
So there's 2 votes. Keep counting as a vote.
No. So there should be 6 people on the dais voting, the mayor 7.
was here, I didn't think I thought you had enough.
No, we need 9 votes.
Right, so Mr.
I said Mr.
Foster.
Foster.
Okay, okay.
Okay, yes,
Are
if you were here
sure
on the
Okay,
June.
what do
he
you vote?
said he thinks he was here.
Okay.
No, he was here.
He said
The only
Okay.
person that wasn't here was Dr. Pendexter.
Okay.
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's 5 yeses, 4 nos?
We had, I don't know. if
Yes?
you're writing.
Yes.
No.
1,
Yes?
5
yeas, 4 2,
5 yea, 4 nay.
5, yes.
And then we don't need more than
5
5.
yeses.
And we don't need more than 5 for
No,
this.
Nope, it's not a use variance, it carries.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you so much.
Can I just ask, how do I know if my fence is gonna be high enough?
High enough for
Is
what?
that part of what you guys put into the?
It's gonna be 8 feet.
8
So
feet
what-
from the parking
What
lot.
they've been approved for is, there might be a problem with parking and that other stuff. But right now, they can only build something with an 8-foot fence, total height of 8 foot in that back.
Okay.
Can I go to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
You sure?
Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, so we
I'll
have,
make the announcement on that second one.
I'm sorry?
I'll announce on the second one, when you open it.
Okay. Well, is he gonna come at all, or is he just?
Oh, he's there, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you're, you can.
Okay, which way? Forward?
We have to keep going, guys. Get another 2 hours worth of meeting.
Mr. Chairman, that was motion approved?
Yes, motion approved, 5-4. Okay, the next item on the agenda is PB 2504, Washington Urban Renewal LLC, 125 Wanacue Avenue, Pompton Lakes, Block 3101, Lot 401, Zone DRA1. And
Mr. Beltre's here.
Mr. Beltry is here, okay.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Veltrig. I'm an attorney. I represent the applicant.
My
Okay.
understanding is that, because of the lateness, all the witnesses have gone, but this application has been opened. It will be continued to the October meeting. No further notice will be required or provided.
Very good. Thank you. See you in October.
Sounds good, thank you. Okay, now we have no resolutions, no conceptual, there's a new unfinished business item. Board to discuss a recommendation to the council for a change in an ordinance regarding correspondence from Township of Wayne dated April 17 on ordinance 26-2025 and 27-2025. I have no idea what that is.
Mr. Keating had noticed that Wayne had some new ordinances. I think they were sent around a few months ago. Since I forgot them, other people may have forgotten them, it might be best to make sure everybody gets copies tomorrow in the mail and then be discussed next month.
Next month.
That'd be my.
Carried to next month.
This was a continuation that we were supposed to continue, no meeting, continue, so that was left off on so he still has concerns, he'd like this to be brought up, to the governing body, so that's what the concern is.
This was you thinking about pictures, John?
Yes.
Yeah.
According to the Wayne ordinance, so I have everything here, but we will
And actually,
continue that.
yeah, if you wanted to discuss it again, I thought.
No, that's it, we talked about it last time, so I'm.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. We can move it on to that and then,
Move it on to the next meeting.
yep, that's fine. And with that, unless somebody has anything else, we can do a, public discussion. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on anything? Seeing none? Last thing item on the agenda is adjournment.
You don't want to say anything, Ryan?
Make a motion
Motion.
to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, hold on.
Motion and a second?
Wait.
All in favor?
You gotta-
Hold
Wait, hold on, she's new, so you gotta, hold on here.
Motion to adjourn, motion approved by
Who motioned?
Mr. Keating. And the second?
Mayor Patrick.
One of us, we did at the same time.
Um,
You have the ballot.
Yep,
Oh, but, okay.
okay,
Right.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nobody opposes it, I don't understand. I thought Commissioner Rose was going to say no more.
No, but yeah.
Thank you all for